Going up. Eyes up. Revealing area.
Cover going out.
Cypher removed. 3 down. Cutting their vision.
Here. Because this is one of the bigger differences between this game and some of the older and some of the other tac shooters is the viability of the LMG, the Ares and the Odin. We see actually purchased in these games. Is this a real strat or what?
1,600 is the cost, right, for the Ares, and so
yeah,
the fact that it's so cheap makes it completely viable. And there is a difference in how much a frag is awarded here in Valorant. And so all kills are 200, regardless of what weapon you use. In Counter-Strike, when you got a kill with the mob, it was 100. With other guns, it was 300, and then, of course, on upward for knives, pistol kills, stuff like that. So when all eliminations are awarded the same, why not use something like the Ares? Of course, if you're holding angles as a defender, having that extra rate of fire, being able to just ADS and hold that angle and get that increased rate of fire is absolutely nuts. And so you can hold on to this for honestly as long as you want.
We'll see how it works out, but right there, the 4-piece. Don't need an LMG for that one.
This should do.
Good old-fashioned Vandal will take care of it. Up 4-zip. Dominguez Hills finding themselves walking up said hill. Irvine, on the other hand, I mean, Jamerson, this is your alma mater. You spoke highly of them before, and they are certainly seem to be performing.
They're definitely showing up, and names like Looter, very veteran in the esports scene. He played on the highly celebrated UCI Overwatch team. Never really able to get championships, but there we go. Looter answering, but it is answered back by Bum Tickley. I didn't want to have to say his name throughout the cast, but there we go. That's the first one.
Walls up at B. Very quickly take it down. There's that change to the way Sage has worked out. Drone going in. And a little bit of a flash here. Nibbler, though, from behind. Not one, not two. Switching it up for 3 and the 4th. Can he get it? Triple already on the line. 1 red, 2 green. Bang, it's 4. And Nibbler chomping down on CSUDH.
That's what I was talking about. The proactive nature of the defense here on this map. It's just that if you're playing the A site, it's so easy for you to be able to get that flank, go straight into mid. And this is what Dominguez Hills' 3rd or 4th attempt at pushing up mid, and so he's able to do that for free. I love this adjustment. 2-man, even though you can just run the Cypher if you wanted to over here on A by himself. Nibbler being able to get on the action. We're seeing how hard he can frag.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a lot of individual gunplay coming out here for UCI, which is really important for them. They now 5-0. They're about halfway through. Obviously, 6 or 7 is exactly that point, but they've got enough under their belt, enough different approaches that they're generally should be confident in what they're trying to do no matter what the situation. So I think we can see more aggressive play coming out from UCI as Dominguez Hills just hasn't been able to stop the train.
Yeah, we're seeing a rotation coming out from UCI right now. Nibbler going all the way across site over to C now, throwing out his smokes along the way. So he's making his presence known, but Dominguez Hills have now pushed up 4-man over to short.
1 goes down already as Looter's waiting. There's 3, but Mr. BT takes him out. 3 for 1. So a good look here coming out from UCI, although neutralized after the fact. 2 players left for the Spike team. Sova's got it, and he's rotating the long way, but he's going to be met up by Zig. Oh! BT takes him down.
Yeah, Ziggy D not being able to win that. I thought he should have, especially with how mid control was lost for Dominguez Hills. They're pushing all the way up through Garage, but Platinum finally able to get the kill with that LMG. Bum Tickley is on the site, but wow, he just goes straight down. It's going to be 6 in a row for UCI.
That was a play, and that's one of the big things about those LMGs, and that we didn't mention, is that their penetration rate's really high. So all of the guns are going to have 1 of 3 penetration rates, low, medium, high, and the fact that the areas in the Odin are high allow you to get what we just saw. I mean, he was hiding behind the box.
Look at that KDA, by the way. We also got a chance to look at the scoreboard there. Nibbler was on 11 and 0, and I believe 3. So, almost involved in every single frag throughout this. Now, Looter playing aggressively again, but he only trades for 1.
That's huge. That's a big difference. Unfortunately, the other big dog on UCI just comes out and takes one down anyway. 4 players for the team leaders. 3 across the way for the attackers. A seems to be the push still as players slowly making their way. The hesitation is working.
Dominguez Hills doesn't know how to play against the Omen and Cypher on the A site, and so there's a lot of hesitance and resistance to go over there. They're feigning that they want to try for an A push, but especially after how that pistol round and then the following round went, they haven't tried their best to try and make it in so far. Now, again, it's going to be another mid push.
Irvine has been extremely patient, and this is usually where things can go awry if you start playing over aggressive in these moments. About 30 seconds left. The attackers Do have 3 players just walking up mid. There is 1 defender behind that spot to the left. So UCI have to be careful here. There they are. Shot them down. 2 players left on site. 1's dead. 1 player left trying to plant. Up on top is Nibbler. And they're stuck down. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go.
We're talking about that pen, and that's kind of what you can do. Just abuse the walls. You know where they're going to be able to come from. And so you just cover an angle there just by spraying through with that LMG. But that was a great lurk play and also just great team play. We saw the breach utility coming out, and that just forced a lot of the angles from Dominguez Hills, and you saw the peak coming immediately afterwards. So great trust in the team, great utilization of the abilities there coming out from breach. We're still seeing why he is such a strong pick right now, still definitely within the S tier. And one thing I haven't talked about yet is just that UCI are running triple flash, by the way. And so they've got 3 blinds with the Omen, with the Breach, and along with that Reyna. And so their utility is almost unmatched in this composition.
And the Reyna, the Reyna flash is a little different than the traditional flashes. The way she works with that eyeball demands players kind of shoot that and can work out real well. Sova trying to clear out Garage here, allowing his team to bust on through and make their way to C. CSUDH really need to make it happen. So here comes Infinity popping the ult, and that's going to be immediately punished by BT in the corner. Wall goes up to stop the ult from being able to find shots. And CSUDH get the spike planted only the 2nd time, but even then, they haven't been able to convert.
Still a 1v2, and the Brim had no HP, but at least they had the crossfire set up for him, and so Dino finishes that off. But they had to commit so much into that. We got to see there was a defender on C, and he ended up going down to the Brimstone ultimate there.
Yeah.
And so at that point, CSUDH, they had to commit almost everything into that fight just to get their first round win here. The economy of UCI is still sitting pretty, and they're going to be able to essentially just buy out for the rest of this half as we have 4 rounds left.
Yeah, I think we can actually go to a listen in. I'd like to listen into Dominguez Hills as they approach this next round.
Your duty is not over. Train harder.
Well, unsure if you guys actually got a chance to hear the players, but that one didn't go their way. UCI are able to come out and get the defuse, but Jamerson, this is a positive here. Dominguez Hills, they actually get the spike planted down, so they're able to break the sites, something that wasn't working out for them before.
Yeah, and so that will be their 2nd plant, but again, at this point, it's still a lot of damage control. Their economy is in shambles right now.
Right.
We've got 3 rounds left in the half, and we saw UCI almost full money on about 2 players. So like I said, they're going to be able to completely buy out, even if Dominguez Hills gets the next few rounds in a row. But with this broken economy, they don't have much to work with. Looter starts it all off. Dizzy goes down first.
It's going to start the 5-on-4, but Dominguez Hills still looks to push the A site. The rotations coming out from UCI as they completely abandon the C site. Ryun, the one trying to play anchor, and he's going to be flanked out just a little bit. Picks one off from the front side, flashed out, able to find a kill despite the fact BT picks up 1, but it's a little bit too late. 4 players still standing for UCI as they grab their 9th round.
We did get to see the Phoenix buff there, that 0.8 seconds to 1.1 seconds now on the flash. And so, I don't know, there wasn't much else to say because in that round, Ryan just ended up getting that flank, and he had all the time in the world to work with. He took a few shots, and they went completely unanswered before they finally turned around. So Dominguez Hill was a little bit slow on the uptake here, but now take a look. Platinum wants to get super aggressive.
Yeah, and I don't mind this play. Right up front with the Reyna, gonna turn the lights out real quick, pick up one through the wall, but BT is able to trade it out 4-on-4. A couple of shots from Sage in the mid to assist her team, but won't be able to find the kill as the smokes come down towards B.
An interesting thing here, I would say, for the UCI defense, other than, of course, that swap over for the Cypher and Omen playing on A side, is the Breach solo on C is absolutely absurd. The kind of CC that he's able to offer across map because of just the large distances his abilities are, it makes sense that he can actually play over there right now. We do have smokes going down. It looks like it is going to be an A push coming up from Dominguez Hills.
Pushing right on through. There's a smoke, there's a slow, and a secondary smoke, but a Nibbler on the other side. Not 3, but 4 shots and 4 kills. Defenders again keep it tight. And it's double digits for Irvine, 10-1.
Anyone who watches Futurama knows how voracious Nibbler is, and he's proving it here right now. 18-1-9. Oh my god. That is absurd.
That's my official analysis, just me cackling laughter. I mean, to have one death is just absurd.
It really is. And take a look at just how aggressive that they're able to play. And they've been largely unanswered here over at Long A, where Looter at least always trades away. He's never gone down. The initial frag is always going to UCI, so it's just a straight push onto C.
Infinity flashes to the left and doesn't even look in that direction. A real gutsy call there as Ryun shoots through everything, picks up 2. Still stuck on the backside, and the Molotov will eventually take the life. 4 players still standing for UCI as Infinity dies trying to enter. There's the 5th kill. And it's number 11. Just like that, we're 2 away from the game.
Yeah, so we're going to swap sides here. So there's a chance, at least, for Dominguez Hills to get a bit more rounds on the board, right? This pistol round. But last time we saw, I forget, it was Nibbler, right? Who just absolutely destroyed on the UCI side. But this time around, it's going to be UCI and the aggressor, and you know that's where things just get absolutely flipped. When we change sides here, every read that you've had from the first half is completely gone, right? The dynamic is completely different. So anything that Dominguez Hills might have learned in the last 12 rounds, they mean nothing here. And now they have less time to work with to try and figure out UCI's game plan and how to play around that. They weren't able to figure it out on the offense, and now they have less time to try and figure it out here on the defense.
Coming in here for our collegiate fight night. This is going to be a single game set. UCI and CSUDH, the winner of this, UCI leaning in that direction, will go on to play the winner of our next match. That's going to be ASU versus CSU. And then that'll be a single game set. And then after that, the winners will play a best of 3. Flashes in as one more time. We see the pistols come in, trying to break the A site. Ryun grabs one. Nibbler grabs the other. Spike starting to be planted as the rotation comes from Dominguez Hills. Trying to play D.
See how practiced UCI are. They're just pre-firing a lot of these angles. They smoke things off and just pre-fire the angles, and they were ending up getting the kills on that. At least Infinity finally answers back, but he's still 3v4 on the retake here as he goes down. Now it's all up to 1. It's just Dino left alive by himself.
Big plays there this time around, but the upper hand doesn't belong to the one in the upper level. Shots coming down. Attackers win. 1 away.
Yeah, UCI sitting on match point and in such a dominant fashion as well. Taking a look at the score once again. 21-9 for Nibbler. Ryun at 15-4-6. Looter at 14-5-4. This is absolutely absurd. We've only basically played half the rounds available throughout an entire game, but we've got 4 players on double digits, and you know you can't fault that the bottom fragger for UCI just hasn't had as much action, and also just Nibbler killing everybody.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's only 5 players to kill, folks. So at least he's above sea level. 5 and 3 for the bottom fragger on UCI. I believe that's Zig. But C-Site seems to be the spot, and Zig will send BT home. And another one for UCI as Ryun picks that one up. Everybody knows about C, so CSUDH has made their rotation. Back to the wall, still able to find it though. Dino and Disley pick up one, but it doesn't matter. Still standing.
Bucky was a little bit too far that time around. Babe not going to be able to get it. Now, we all know how strong the Bucky is, but that just distance doesn't work out for the right click there. And so, congratulations to UCI for taking that win. It was a very dominant one for them at this point. But like I said, UCI have a long history in esports, and the type of structure and foundation that they have is absolutely absurd. So they have a lot more support than most other teams have.
I want to point something out. Econ rating. That's a complicated stat. That might be a complicated stat. How much you know about this stat is largely irrelevant. Nibbler has over 300, and no one else is over 90. That's got to be insane. Whether you know the stat or not, it has a lot to do with how much money you spend per kill. So if you don't die often and you buy lower end guns, blah, 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 blah. He's over 300, Jamerson.
Yeah. Also taking a look at the combat score to have 3 players over 300 as well, and then your bottom fragger is at 122. So it goes to show like how much that they were absolutely just dominating throughout this match. All respect to both sides, but UCI showing that they are on a class of their own currently.
Absolutely, like you said, sort of the support for the team coming from the college as well, kind of really helping them bolster that situation over there in dominating fashion. Like you said, shout outs to Dominguez Hills. They were able to kind of improve as we saw the game go on. They got just dominated in the early rounds, and then towards the mid game, we saw them breaking the sights a little bit more, eventually getting some spikes down, but it was just too much from Irvine. What I do question, though, as Irvine goes on to play in our best of 3 after our next single game set, is we didn't really get to see them play the counterattack, the retake too much. They were always in the lead. How do you think this team responds when put under pressure?
Yeah, that is actually a great question. We really didn't get to see much else out of them. There are a few things that we did learn, and I was watching chat as well throughout all of this. I know that there are some ASU students that will be competing who are also scouting this game out, and so I think they've learned a bit about UCI at the very least. And so one thing we'll note is that not investing after taking that pistol round and try to stretch that economy a little bit more might be something that ASU can try to take advantage of. Or was that just UCI playing a little bit differently here because they kind of understand the strength of their opponent? Will they give more respect once we get to the best of 3?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I mean, once I mentioned that, I think 6 rounds in or so, about how UCI was kind of like, all right, we have control of this match. This should be ours. Like, if you're a competitive player, at that point, you're sitting there and you go, look, we're better than them. We should win this match. How much of our hand do we want to show? Because we've got to play matches later. So how much can we keep it here behind the chest, or should we share that information? Speaking of which, us here at Wisdom Valorant put together a bunch of videos. You should check out our YouTube. It's pretty dope. We love to share the information. Here's an example of what we got going on. We'll be right back with the next match.
Feast upon the souls of your opponents with the vampiric Reyna. Reyna is a duelist with a heavy focus on vision denial and high self-sustainability. Her abilities rely on picking up kills. Players will be rewarded for precision and gun control.
3 souls.
Her first ability, Leer, launches an eye forward that will significantly reduce an enemy's field of vision as long as it remains in their line of sight. This ability has the added benefit of being usable through walls. However, it can be destroyed in just a few shots from any weapon. Reyna's next 2 abilities rely on her passive Soul Harvest. Enemies killed by her will leave behind soul orbs that last for 3 seconds. She can consume these to activate either Devour or Dismiss. Devour, Reyna's second ability, will consume one of these soul orbs left behind to quickly restore her health to 100. Any healing done beyond maxed HP will be converted into overhealing. It's important to note, overhealing caps at 50, and if you have full health and armor, you'll receive 0 healing from Devour. Be careful not to break line of sight on the soul orb, as it will not only waste a charge, but also interrupt its healing. Her signature ability, Dismiss, also consumes a soul orb, making Reyna invulnerable. While she can't pass through walls, she's completely immune to damage and can pass through players. However, Reyna's unable to attack while in this state. By activating the ability again, players can cancel it early. You don't need line of sight to the soul orb to activate Dismiss. With abilities designed around killing everything in her path and coming out on top, Reyna's ultimate, Empress, pushes both her offensive and defensive power to the next level. Once activated, Reyna levels up. She gains a tremendous boost to her firing, equip, and reload speeds. Kills will also refresh the duration of Empress, allowing you to keep on trucking. In addition to these two boosts, Empress augments her two soul harvest abilities, Devour and Dismiss. Devour gains unlimited charges while under her ultimate's effect and automatically activates without consuming a soul orb. Dismiss takes things a step further and Reyna gains invisibility alongside her invulnerability. Dismiss still consumes a soul orb. Reyna's not a perfect agent by any means. Against more aggressive playstyles, she might find difficulty in using Lear effectively. Enemies that rush past it won't have their field of vision reduced. Players also got to be careful when using Dismiss. When you exit your invulnerable state, you'll be unable to fire for a moment, leaving you exposed. And while you'll be invisible using Dismiss under Empress, you'll give off a distinct ethereal audio cue, letting enemies know where you'll pop out from. Lastly, be careful when using Devour. When draining the soul, you'll be giving away your position. As a near immortal soul stealer, Reyna works best in the hands of a skilled marksman. If you're not getting kills, you're not generating soul orbs. Use Devour to completely restore your health or evade enemy abilities in gunfire with Dismiss. Lear can shut down an enemy's vision and even force them to turn or rotate away, luring right where you want them. Be relentless when Empress is up. You shoot faster, you reload faster, you are the superior killer. Once you begin collecting souls, you can't be stopped. Your incredible defensive power is the key to your offense. Hunt, kill, and consume your enemies as Reyna. Today we're going to show you our top 5 Viper one-ways that help you easily get frags and put you on top of the scoreboard in Valorant. Before we jump in, let's go over what a one-way is. A one-way is a smoke, or any ability that obscures vision, in this case Viper's Poison Cloud, that's placed in such a way that it gives you sight on your enemies, but without them being able to see you, hence the name One Way. One-ways can be incredibly effective at holding choke points and other areas of contention. Now let's slither into our top 5 and see what Viper, the Queen of Poison, can handle. Number 5, Split, A lobby to A ramp. If you thought defenders could only utilize one-ways, think again. This one-way is used for offense and can cut off a pivotal peak when defenders are holding A ramp on Split. Most players holding A ramp will tend to play on the right corner on the top of A ramp. But what if they play the left side, you might ask? Well, we have you covered there with a nice snake bite that you can also use. Let's go ahead and set this one up. Before the round starts, jump on top of the plant in the corner here, and make sure you're tucked all the way into the corner. From here, place your crosshair right at the corner of this spot and throw it once you're ready. Oh yeah, remember that snake bite we talked about? Combo that from the same position as well. All you gotta do is line up your crosshair at the intersection of the thin horizontal line and the diagonal shadow. This is gonna land on the left side, forcing defenders back. Number 4, Haven, C window to C short. One of the most contested areas of Haven is C short, or garage. This location gives attackers access to both a flank on B site as well as C site. Holding down garage is crucial, and with this poison cloud, you'll have the advantage anytime a team chooses to push your way. You want to quickly get your one-way smoke placed as soon as the round starts.
Welcome back to Collegiate Fight Night. Seth Dot, and it's Jamerson. Shout outs to the video squad there. I don't do any of the work. I just talk in the mic for those videos. It's all put together by a really, really cool team. Follow us on Twitter down there, and we always tweet out those videos so you can learn more about the Valorant stuff Speaking of learning more about the Valorant stuff, we are learning how ASU and CSU do, as that's our next matchup.
Yeah, we really didn't get to see much at all. It was, 13 rounds in our first game. It was just the best
Yeah.
of one, and those can be really short here. Again, though, I think there might be a difference in caliber of players right now. Arizona State University, one of those colleges that do have strong esports backing. We were there just, I want to say, 2 years ago. For the Overwatch TESPA Collegiate Finals, Arizona State was able to play a show match there, but they do have some backing, and I believe I'm trying to wonder if that's the same Yoda from Overwatch as well. I'm not quite familiar, but again, with the kind of esports presence and culture that a campus already has, you have to imagine that their players are going to be absolutely beastly.
Yeah, Irvine in our first match also very similar, where they have a whole bunch of support from the university. Colorado State certainly has the culture as well. We'll see if these guys can stand up against what they have to go up against with ASU here. And I think it should be a little bit more of a contest than our first one. Listen, no shade towards Dominguez Hills, but they were a little bit outdated. Some of their strategies just didn't seem like they were fresh off the printing press. And so when we come here for ASU versus CSU, let's talk about that a little bit. What is the current meta post-release with Reyna? You mentioned we saw a 3-flash team in game 1. Talk to me. Let's go deep. What are we looking for here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's like an established meta quite yet, but a lot of the tier lists are staying fairly the same so far. You know, you want your sages, of course. But I think a lot more power, even though it has been removed from Sage, she's still up there. She just provides so much utility. She heals and she's got the revive. But agents like Omen definitely getting boosted up there. His smokes being fantastic right now, and of course, just his quality of life changes and how he can utilize his ultimate now is absolutely absurd. And so I like seeing that coming in, and seeing the very heavy utility composition with the flashes and the smokes coming out from UCI. I think it's something that we're trending towards more just a little bit. I was surprised, of course, by that Reyna pick. People still a little bit on the fence about her, thinking she's more of a pub style kind of agent, but we saw her used pretty competently, I would say, at the very least, by UCI.
I think Reyna is a little bit different from some of the other pub stomp characters. Jet comes to mind. I think her shroud, it's kind of the flash, right? The vision denier. That is so incredibly useful for long range engagements. Like when you're looking down long C on bind, for example, which is where we're going to go to next. That's something that you can lock down really well, where you can right here, where you usually line up with the sniper rifles. She tosses out the vision denier, and you have to shoot that before you can shoot the target. Those angles, all of a sudden, you can double peek by yourself, essentially. And I think that's really, really powerful. So I think she'll be a character that's a little bit more map specific, where you can make use of denying those long angles versus Breach or Brimstone, where, yeah, I need to smoke every map.
Yeah, she is like a lot of people said, feast or famine, but also very snowballing, right? And so when you are feasting with that devour, being able to heal yourself, self-sustain, or also just have movement, having that kind of flexibility in your kit and self-reliability is absolutely absurd, especially on people that are heavy lurkers and such. And so here on Bind, I'm not entirely too sure how well she'll play out. I feel like this is something that people might want to play a little bit more standard. Again, it's been, a week? Less than a week since release, and so I imagine not a lot of people have been able to get the same amount of practice so far, especially with so many teams experimenting with different compositions right now.
Yeah, it's probably definitely hard to kind of lock down those hours in the gym, so to speak. But we have one extra map, Ascent. Players haven't really brought that map out yet in our first couple of games, and that's what we've seen. I did another tournament yesterday, a little bit more for fun, but still, best of threes, and Ascent was always the last one chosen. Split, everybody forgets about. But Haven and Bind, they're everybody's favorites. Ascent seems fun, but a little bit new. So, like you said, we're kind of sticking to what we already know and trying to innovate from there.
Yeah, despite the changes to mid over at Split, there are so many more balance changes that need to come out to the map. The mid changes, I love it. It's huge for the map, and I hated fighting over at mid for that specific reason. I love the change, but there's so much more that they actually need to do for it before. A lot of players are like, yeah, this map's gonna have fun. Let's go ahead and play it. So it's, I think, either gonna remain a last pick or a niche pick for a lot of teams for quite some time.
See, man, this is where I wish I had a team, because I'm the ultimate hipster. I'm the ultimate Johnny for my Magic fans out there that understand that. Like, I want to be creative and a little bit different while I beat you. If I was on a team, we would only practice Split and we would pick it every tournament so that we would just rock you and you would have no recourse. That's exactly what I would do. How come nobody's doing that?
Yeah, I think the big problem right now is that, well, we only have 4 maps, right? It's not as deep of a pool as CSGO or something like Overwatch, where there's an absurd amount of maps that you have to practice for. So preparation for it's a little bit easier here in Valorant, especially with how long match time can be in comparison to something like CSGO. Being here in MR12, it feels like time just flies by. Even if it does go the full 25 rounds, it feels so short compared to how Counter-Strike can just kind of slog on for an entire map. And then if you end up going into overtime, right? We haven't changed much about overtime as well, but going into MR3 in Counter-Strike could also take an absolutely absurd amount of time. I think it was down in Australia or something where they ended up going into something like their 10th overtime round in a row, or 12th overtime round in a row. I forget, but it can be just such a battle getting through the overtime rounds and just the long match times.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the bigger conversations recently. We are waiting for our teams to get ready in there. Don't worry, me and Jamerson aren't just riffing our new podcast. We are waiting for our players to get in there. But yeah, I mean, that was one of the bigger concerns, was the length of time. Counter-Strike, big conversation there when we talk about the meta sport. So when we look at what Valorant has to offer, that's one of the big deals. Is it's the first to 13 allows you to kind of have these long range games, because one of the big things is one of the concerns was that with that how short 13 rounds was, maybe we would just see snowballs, but we have seen a lot of comebacks because of the way the economy works.
Yeah, it is so easy to just kind of really get an economy going and also break a team's economy. I love the changes that they made back in beta, right? Max money down from 12,000 down to 9,000. And changing around for a lot of the agents, kind of how much their utility costs, has made a difference. So I love seeing that. I still think economy management is a lot easier in this game than it is in CSGO, and being able to build up a bank, build up to max money isn't that hard if you are able to snowball 3-4 rounds in a row, and all of a sudden your entire roster is sitting on basically max bank as long as they're not dying.
Also, the other side, I mean, if you're getting trounced, we just got destroyed. If you save for 1 round, you've got SMGs, and you're totally able to fight with your team fully spectered up. So I really like that bounce back capability. Bringing you down from being in a lead, I think almost could be messed around a little bit. 9,000. I wouldn't be offended if we saw it come down to 8K, but I'm not upset with 9K right now. I really like to focus on the other side and seeing how easy it is to kind of get back into the game when you've been stepped on.
Yeah, I do want to say shout out, of course, to all of the collegiate players, collegiate officers, the collegiate support that are showing up in Twitch chat right now. We've got Select, also an alum of UCI, currently over at Twitch. So he played on the UCI Overwatch team along with Tilde coming in as a DPS player. We've also even got someone from Berkeley. We got Mercy in the chat as well, who is an officer for their TESPA chapter showing up. So love the support coming out from the collegiate community. Thank you all for showing up. But we are into match here for Colorado State University taking on Arizona State University.
Should be real exciting here. CSU are going to be the ones starting off on the attacker's side, and ASU will be playing defense. Taking a look at the compositions here, Sage both sides, Learn to Expect It, Reyna both sides, though. And that's something that you said you were a little bit more surprised of the first time around.
Yeah, the main difference between the compositions right now, ASU is running the Cypher, who's a lot of people would say basically you need to have him here on Bind, while CSU are running that Sova, and so that's the major compositional changes coming out from either side right now. But it looks like CSU want to make a push for that B site.
3 players on defense over at A, so CSU rolled correctly. They have the numbers advantage 5-2. Reyna comes up, shades out, and shrouds out, and the better shots coming out from the player stuck in there. Cypher looks good, but it's Grizzy taking out 2. Cypher still standing? Nope. There it is. And Sova's going to be able to snap it down. Spike planted. ASU have too strong to look for the retake.
Yeah, Grizzly even trying to go for that wall bang just in case there was someone on the other side, and that's going to be Reflex Beast here. Now on this 2v3 retake, Flash ready for Cassie Bear as he peeks out.
Gets some information, sees one on the left, one in the mid, and one up top. CZ able to take him out. Information or nah. Won't have a chance. Reflex Beast coming out of labs and is seen. Wins 1 gunshot, but won't take the 1v3. It's a little tall of a task, so CSU grabs the first round.
And that was just a coordinated effort coming out from CSU there. You saw they were very quick on that push. As soon as the brim smokes went down, they were all on site, and so there was no hesitation coming out from them, and that's kind of what you need to do on these pistol rounds, especially on the offense. Trying to play for picks, not quite what you really want to do. Coming out from ASU, though, especially here on Bind, this is where the shorty buys can be huge, and so I believe we have triple shorties coming out from ASU. They can hold these angles, playing 2 over at Hookah. That'll be an interesting sight to see. So they should be able to trade away at the very least there.
I hate him. Sell me on a shorty. Like, I hate him. I just hate him. Sell it to me, Jamerson.
You know, the shorty.
Okay,
well,
I
don't need to
sold
sell
on it.
you.
Never
Cassie
mind.
Bear will do it, and he's able to trade away for that Spectre. Instant value created. That's what you do.
All right, I've been sold. Please mail me a shorty. Reflex Beast and Yoda trying to sift through the smoke. Down goes CZ as Yoda shoot he does. Reflex Beast again coming up tall with the short man. My questions have been answered. Thrifty, and we're tied at 1.
Yeah, that's the ultimate thrift store value, you know? You're gonna pop some tags, or you're gonna pop some shorties. Only got 200 credits in your pocket, you're good. So ASU really showing the value of the shorty there, especially with the distances that you have to partner on Bind. It is just absolutely incredible what you can do with it. And the fact that, you know, you push showers by yourself like that, kind of scary. Easy value for them to get there. You know, on an eco round like that, you have to be careful as the offensive team. And they did not give the proper respect over to ACU, and so ACU were able to punish them. Now going into the 3rd round here, economy's all over the place.
Couple of pistols. CSU thinking about B, but trying to take this carefully. The single peek is a dangerous game, so they're going to double peek long up there. Grizzy's got a teammate coming out from Hookah, so it's a 3-2 push, but one goes down long and one goes down in the middle. It's 4-on-4. All of a sudden, the smoke's up in Hookah. We got to stop real quick.
Yeah, they are kind of bottled up there, and they know that there is someone on the flank. They were ported over from a site here, and so that's actually keeping them bottled up, and they're not doing much. Reflex Beast just wall banging, getting C-Dog the gamer, and now CSU are just all sorts of lost.
Yeah, just a little bit. Trying to decide what they want to do here. Communication seems to be on the quick rotate, but Stealthy waiting to see if there's anybody trying to rotate the rotator, so to speak. There's the target, but the bullet finds no home. Tony and Grizzy go down. Yoda finds one through the wall as well, and all of a sudden it's 2-on-1. Tony, healed up to 81, knows where the enemy is. Flashes out mid, won't find it. Continues towards the teleporter, which is empty. One in Hookah. And the dieback, not great a look.
Yeah, and Tony, you know, you're still vulnerable, even though they've got the changes to the run it back, right? You're automatically respawned with reloaded weapons there. There's still that animation.
Yeah.
Popped it a little bit too early there without proper cover, and he gets punished for that. I still like the early usage, trying to fight it back. It was possible for him, but we're still seeing kind of the weaknesses of that ultimate right now, though, going into the 4th round. CSU, they've got that Brimstone ultimate to work with, and I feel like this is a round that they should definitely invest it into.
So with that Brimstone ultimate, I usually see it used for A pushes. Is there a reason why Brimstone ult is a little bit more effective on the A side?
It's a lot easier to clear out angles, especially like U-Hauls, right?
Okay.
If someone's trapped in U-Hauls, they're dead. It's almost a guaranteed pick. So as long as you get that information and you want to clear it out, you could just go ahead and pop that, or you can even pop it over at Heaven and clear that side out. So it's just very effective, easy to use, easy to get value off of.
2 players creeping in through showers. They have been smoked out just a little bit. A main also kind of backed up. That is where the spike is. Stealthy in the aggressive position. 3 defenders here to deal with. 2 still locked over on the other site. Reyna's going to toss up the vision denier, and an interesting smoke will leave the one-way open. And Stealthy finds the shot. More denial coming out from Reyna, but CZ turns around, catches the flank, and a great look for CSU as they try to tie it up 2-2. If that's going to be the case, has yet to be seen, and ASU on a good side to say no way. 1 remaining for Colorado.
Yeah, it's just down to the Sova here. He's over at short A, and if he wanted to, he could move this over to B if he had just ran, but now he's running out of time and has to make a play for it at this point. It looks like he might be able to get right here and at least have the money for himself, but a quick peek coming out from Yoda. He'll be able to take them out. That's the 3rd round on the board for ASU, and Yoda trying to give us some sort of motion sickness there at the end.
He's just dancing. He's 6-1. He can do that.
So I think I learned from my time in Counter-Strike that a lot of the times that when players do that, they're just trying to get the camera off of them. So they try to make movement. They try to make movement that's like displeasing for the viewer. That happened like fairly frequently when we were casting and observing Counter-Strike. That the players would shake their screen violently, so that the spectator would no longer watch them.
Hilarious. 90 seconds. As we open a new round here. 5th in total. Big shots, and Grizzy already taken down to just 3 HP. I think Sage is across the map, so won't be able to get a heal quite easily just yet. Doesn't seem like there's a decision made for CSU as to which site.
They're looks like they're just trying to slow play this, try to make a play for a pick or something. They are starting to congregate over here at short, and now waiting out the duration of this wall. Maybe try to bait out this rotation, but the Reyna wall, the Reyna flash should come out soon. They're on site, but Reflex is over here at U-Haul, gets that first pick. Care for help.
1 player from CSU already lagging behind, so it's really just a 3-on-2 push. ASU making the rotation. Yoda. The double for him. And he's still standing. Teams trade out. Grizzy the only one left. Scratch it. That's 4.
Where did he go? I'm confused as to where his body went when he went down there. Was he in the teleporter? Like, I don't understand. Did he fall back into the teleporter?
I think so.
Okay. He kinda got sent to the Shadow Realm there as soon as he died.
Pretty much. I mean, hey, man. Clutch or kick, right?
Well, at least they were able to get that bomb plan, and so they'll be able to buy into this round fairly well, and with decent money left over. But these rifle rounds have not been going their way, and it's kind of odd. The push coming out from CSU right now, 4-man commit without playing anyone over at bathrooms is a little bit weird. So maybe if they do try to go for an A push again, they try to get a bit more bathroom control or showers control. This time, though, it looks like they want to try and play for a pick over on the C site once again. I don't know how well this will go. 3 players going over to Octagon now, and 2 pushing up on to Hookah.
I love this play. I love this play because they know they've ran into 3 players consistently the past couple of rounds. So they know that there's only 2 players defending on the other side. Catsy Bear's able to take 1 down. Yoda picks up 2. Grizzy trades it out. CSU, I like the macro strategy. Micro a little bit less intense as they kind of cover each other's angles and nothing works out for them. ASU pick up another round. Defenders win. It's 5-1.
ASU's timing on that was so great. Reflex Beast, as soon as he heard, of course, that call being made that CSU are going to be making that push for the B site, instantly goes through that portal and once again kind of keeps them pinned over at Hookah. And so the timing on it was great. His peak on it was great. He at least trades away 1-for-1, slows down the push out of Hookah's. That means, of course, the wide swing coming out, peeking over at Octagon, and he's able to get that free fire off without having to worry about the Hookah push. And so the timing coming out from the defense there was just perfect.
Yeah, really, really well executed. Again, I think CSU had the right plan. Not only did they have the right plan of going for the other bomb site, but they did it quickly, which I also think was integral. But it just didn't work out the way they actually entered the site, largely because ASU rotated very, very quickly. This time around, CSU going to start with the upper hand, getting a pick, and it's 5-on-4.
They've got the Frenzy, or the Empress to work with for that Reyna. I want to see how they utilize this right now. Early flash coming out from ASU. So that's interesting to use that so early on when we've seen them be a little bit more reserved and wait for that kind of retake or at least counter push that first frag coming out from ASU though it's traded away.
Oh man, down another one goes, and Hookah, the push still here. The vision is strong, and that'll open up that little right side cubby, but still players remaining on the site as the attackers filter into B. There's 2 on the blue side. Make that 3. And only 1 standing, it looks like. And down he goes. ASU grab another round.
Yeah, I think they used the Empress into that and just weren't able to get anything. And again, it's that ultimate that's supposed to be really snowbally. You're supposed to be able to be super aggressive with it, but their timing on that push was just a little bit slow. I noted at the beginning of the round with how decisive they were on their pistol round and just went straight for the site. Here though, they're starting to slow it down. The defense coming out from ASU, excuse me, making CSU kind of question their pushes so far, and it's slowed down their tempo of pace, and it's playing towards what ASU I think are comfortable with themselves, being able to pick apart the team slowly here on the defense.
Exactly. I think one of the best pushes that we saw to CSU was that last time at B, and one of the other times where they went fast. ASU want to play this slow, and Colorado are playing right into their trap, I think. The slower Colorado plays, the better ASU are at denying the extra options and controlling the ones they know about. And so Arizona State have been absolutely controlling this one up and down. In our 8th round, CSU only have 1 to their name. And right now, they just look frazzled. They're just holding in the middle, waiting for someone to make a mistake.
Yeah, it looks like, again, it's going to be a 5-man commit. Now, C-Dog does pick up 1, though. So Reflex has to back off. But with no presence over at Shroud, that allows Cassie Bear to go for this wide peek here. Picks up 1. Reflex Beast picks up 2. There it is. That's going to be the shutdown.
Reflex Beast, the gunplay out of CSU, or excuse me, ASU, is real intense. Spike has been planted by Colorado. 2 players on defense ready to take it, and the vision is good. That's going to be the end of the round. Lucky number 7, and that's a wrap.
But we talked about this. There hasn't been any shower presence coming out from CSU, and they did it again there, where they did not commit anyone over to that. So Cassie Bear, who hasn't had to worry about it, even though he's still doing his due diligence, he's checking that angle and he's making sure no one's pushing from there. The fact that no one has been pushing from that, it's just a read coming out from ASU. He understands that he's pretty much free to be able to hold that angle and hold over at a site looking towards a short instead of having to really worry about his back there. CSU need to change things up, need to play a little less predictably at this point. I know we're only, 8 rounds into this half and now coming on to the 9th, but they need to try something different. Instead, they're again going to go ahead and push 5-man onto the A side from short.
Just gonna brute force it, man. If you type every password in, eventually you're gonna get in. 2 players on the blue side are able to take them down, and now we're evened up. It's 3-3. Scratch it as Cassie Bear able to pick one up. That's a wrap. Grabs it on the other side. The double-un. Tony sits down. And ASU, another one.
The coordination there, I would say, is a little bit off for CSU because they had the Brimstone ultimate, and they ended up using it midway through their push, right? They pushed out with the smokes, and then they were able to trade away their frag, and then they threw down the Brimstone ult onto U-Hauls, which is a little bit late. At that point, if you're going to make that push, you open up with the Brimstone ultimate, so you don't have to worry about that.
Real quick, Jamerson, 8-1 here. This is a questionable round. Do you buy here if you're CSU or no?
Honestly, I wasn't able to take a look at their economy, but you got to try to get something going. If you've got the money for rifles, I think you have to try it out or something. It's just so weird. But right now, ASU are definitely just got complete map control again. Now they do trade away finally, Stingy going down there, but Reflex Beast again with the timing on the ports. I love how he's playing this position.
Yeah, I love the timing and everything. Here's an adaptation that I'm not seeing teams make. Dominguez Hills didn't make it in game number 1, and CSU isn't making it here in game number 2. And this is important when you're playing games like this, as Cassibear kind of pops up and takes down CZ. You've got to be realistic about your level of play. And you've got to be like, look, I'm not going to win that gunfight. The Sage player on ASU has routinely won every single challenge. You have to admit, listen, Reflex Beast is better than us. We have to double peek him. These adaptations of just saying that's not going to work going head to head, you've got to make that concession.
Yeah, I agree. And if you're losing that battle, you either play away from that angle or, like you said, double peek that. And that's what they've been doing, right? Trying to put that 5 onto the short A, but it hasn't been working out for them because, well, you also have to worry about Cassibear. At this point, Cassibear is feeling very comfortable playing over there by Showers. We got to see in that last round, pushing all the way through. So he's got a lot of space to work with there. And so the angles that CSU can work with are getting cut off slowly here. Now, Grizzy is forced to use that Molotov just to clear that angle because they're afraid of everything that ASU have been doing to them.
Hookah push going to be denied thanks to Reyna. I love that ability. I think that ability is so interesting. Tony off screen is going to take down Reflex Beast. One of the bigger threats, as we just mentioned. Stingy's going to put himself on the board as well. Sea-Dog sits down 4-on-4 as ASU tries to defend the B site.
Yep, he's going to be forced out. Saying he takes that out. Yoda will find one more. But here's the issue now. CSU, like I said, they kind of have been brute forcing a lot of these pushes so far. But with Cassibear on that last round, with that flank, left them questioning their flanks this time around. So Tony was just lurking all the way back at spawn for this eventual push that's going to be coming up from Cassibear. There it is. Tony's able to trade away with Yoda, but Cassibear once again on that flank. And so now, coming into this final round, CSU, they don't have a proper read on how ASU are playing, and so that leaves them just way too vulnerable on their flanks and way too slow now here on their pushes.
This is going to be the all-in from CSU. The chips are in the middle of the table. We got $400, $200, $400 on the side of CSU. This is the full buyout.
Oh no!
Cassibear on the other hand.
Right now. No, just commit. Just commit. So they have the extra money, right? Well,
right.
I'll talk about this in a second. Oh.
Well, that doesn't work. That's absolute worst case scenario. Tony like a bat out of hell.
Challenge over at bathrooms now, over at Showers. They could have done this earlier. They could have done this 4 or 5 rounds earlier.
Yep. ASU playing defense with 2 players. CSU, though, contending with it. This time, things are looking Colorado stately. Cypher still playing D, making the rotation back in. Can he wrap this one up?
Eagle-eyed.
One for the money.
Oh.
Not gonna take it. Attackers win. CSU with their second round of the contest.
Yeah, I wanted to make a point in that round about like how silly it was that ASU had so much money that they could buy extra guns, and that's actually kind of important, right? Because if you buy the extra guns, instead of having to reload, if you fall back from a position, you just go ahead and drop your gun and pick up a fully loaded gun. And I was hoping to see that kind of being used there, which is what they were setting up, where Cassibear was setting up. He had the LMG, he had Vandal also at his disposal, so if he had to fall back from his position instead of reloading, even though do you really need to reload any of the LMGs, you still have that rifle ready back there. But that just
neat.
went to show how strong ASU's economy was going into that final round.
Yeah. Stacks on stacks on stacks. Halftime switch. 12 rounds in, our 13th, we see a swap up and a draining of the money. All players. Pistolas. Hookah push coming out from ASU. As they are the ones on offense this time around. Classic for reflex. Shoots high, shoots low, finds left, shoots down Reyna nonsense. Cassibear the first one, taking down Stealthy. Yoda follows up, even though Grizzly answers. Puts down the Cypher player on ASU. 4 players still strong. Through the smoke, won't find it. Spike already down. It's up to CSU to play defense. And where are they? Trying to shoot through the smoke is Stingy. Swaps out. That's the tech you were talking about, and that's the smack we're talking about. 11-2. ASU.
Yeah, it's so much faster to just, pick up a gun instead of reloading there and work out for him at that point, which is also, I believe, another thing that Frenzy or Empress allows you to do on Reyna, right? It increases your rate of fire along with your weapon swapping or pull-out animations. And so we don't really get to see that as much right now, especially with how dominant it's been. But it's really cool to see at the very least.
That was also, I mean, hey, you're the analysis guy. I just think that was sick. That looked cool. That was some Tomb Raider nonsense. Walk in, shoot, throw the gun, pick it off the ground. You love to see it. ASU here, leaning towards B. But I say leaning, not committing.
Yeah, they don't have to. They're just showing presence and having control over the ultimate orbs, which is massive. Because they want to close this out early on. Why not? You're 2 rounds away from winning this out. Cassibear falls back. It's Reflex Beast once again. Just fragging out for ASU.
Yeah, nice play on the Sage there. Grizzy still locked in the backside. Gonna get the win against Cassibear. ASU have a couple of players able to take him down. Yoda gonna grab that one. Sea-Dog. The lone one here for Colorado takes down Reflex. Honestly, with the Reflex, all of a sudden he sees the Sage snap to it, right?
Yeah, that was very quick, but not going to be able to finish that off. That's a wrap once again with that DMR. Now, ASU sitting on match point, and it's a very similar case to what we saw in the UCI game just before this. Very one-sided. Each respective organization and school showing their relative strength right now. And we were talking about this. We were mentioning it. The relative strength between these colleges right now. With the backing, with the support that you have, you can build such strong rosters. And so UCI and ASU definitely representing here.
Yeah, everybody on ASU really kind of pulling out all the stops and looking effective, both defense and offense. They played slow, and this time they're going to play fast. Stingy leading the charge. Reyna seems to be a great entry frag because of the eyeball. Smoke's coming out from long and hookah. Yeah.
Many spies of many eyes. They're going to back away from this just a bit. Again, giving a little space, respecting the teleporter play. Cassibear, though, starting it all off, getting that one frag.
That's going to send CSU from A to B. So Arizona have lured the other defenders, but it's still going to be the commit. Yoda takes down Stealthy on the right-hand side. There's players coming out from L, but CZ gets 2. Spike planted. CZ with the 3rd, but it's Reflex Beast. Aaron gets the kill, but he goes down. By the way, Aaron's Reflex Beast. I can use his first name because we're tight like that. I know top players, but it's not a big deal. The defuse, and CSU grabs their 3rd round.
Yeah, 3rd round on the board for CSU, but they had to run this back 9 in a row now just to send it into overtime. ASU, let's take a look at the scoreline. 17-9, 15-10, 14-8. So yeah, everyone just doing work across the board, like you said in that last round for ASU. Everyone contributing. It hasn't been quite like, not the one-man show, maybe it was a 2-man show for UCI here, but it's a team effort for ASU.
Yeah, when your bottom frag is 12-5, I sleep easily. Like that's what you want to happen. So you'll love to see that one. Match point here for Arizona State. They're certainly turning the heat up on Colorado. Cypher with the spike, and they're looking for A site.
Yeah, it looks looks like, again, ASU playing this differently from how CSU played it. That bathroom presence is going to be ASU on the push.
B site still manned by 2 players, so it's a 5-on-3 here. If Arizona stay quick, that's going to be a shot down as Tony is able to grab a couple. CSU looking strong on defense. Tony grabs another. Arizona State still pushing, but they've got the flank coming up behind them. Cassie Bear has no idea. There's someone right behind him. Flash goes in. Phoenix pushes. Left side, unable to take it. Grizzy again. And this is 4 for CSU.
But we see the effectiveness and how different the defenders have to play post plants or just holding onto the site when you have to worry about that shower's presence. So Cassie Bear proving my point from the other half that you can't just put all 5 mid and try to push up through short A. That someone has to be over at shower. Someone has to have that presence. That slowed down the man over on heaven. The person playing on site as well had to worry about that angle. You play it completely differently when you have to worry about showers.
It seems like it's funny. Showers is the first spot you go to when you're a noob, and then you learn a little bit and you're like, that's a death funnel. And then you learn more and you realize how important it is to balance the site, like you said.
Yeah, now we've got a 3-2 split right now. Bomb is over by Banana here. They've already made their presence known. Backing off of Hookah now, and they could, if they wanted to, make a play over for A, just take the teleporter over. They had full control over, now smoke's coming out, but no rotations quite yet from CSU.
Arizona State are making a lot of noise here on the B site, and I like it. I think they're going to get Colorado to commit. Oh no, they're actually going to pull their team over here. I almost thought this was a deke, and the player's looking for A. Excuse me, I misspoke before. It almost looked like they were just making noise here at A and then looking to move around, but not the case. Spike's going to come up mid as well.
And Tony, though, picks up 2.
Man, he's certainly bringing it when it counts and when it matters. Spike planted, but the planter immediately taken down. Cypher is the only one left here to defend the spike that was planted at CSU, or excuse me, to defend the site. And the retake, well, there it is. Defuse! And that's the game, defenders. 5 in a row. Not 5 in a row, excuse me, but 5 now. As they look up at Arizona State's 12. Arizona's been on match point for like 3 or 4 in a row. At what point do you get concerned here, Jamerson?
I think they're just trying to get a better read. Again, they've got 7 rounds now to just have that one successful round, right?
Yeah.
And so they can take their time. I'm not concerned quite yet. I think right there what they committed into it was fine. I think they were trying to poke and prod, and so they pulled Cassie Bear away from showers, and I think him showing his presence over at B almost worked. They got the kill on the Cassie Bear when he jumped down onto site, I believe. Yeah. And we were seeing 2 people rotate over from A. So that bait almost worked. So ASU are playing this methodically. I think they're still playing this very smart right now. So I'm not worried for them right now.
It's going to be a trade out here. Stingy and Sea Dog starting things off for their teams. 4 on 4. Grizzy just firing. Morena looking for some denial. And every bit of utility. Look at the wall just placed. Every bit of utility here. That actually cuts off the vision from Heaven, by the way. Vision cut off permanently for that's a wrap. And Stealthy going to look one as well. 2-1. ASU only have 1 player. Excuse me. 2-2. And there's the 2-1 as Reflex Beast goes down.
Yeah, you should be able to stick to the time. The map pushing through showers. They're going to be able to defuse there. So just a little bit slow on the uptake. I will say, though, CSU are a bit conservative with their ultimate usages. I honestly thought that they would go for at least the Resurrect with the Sage, but they held on to it and were able to clutch out that round.
I love that they did. I love that they did.
I like it too, but I would have also liked to have seen it. You know, I wouldn't have disagreed with either choice, but we've been seeing that they've been holding on to this ultimate, and at this point, it's kind of scary about how conservative you are with these things.
Sure.
But maybe they shouldn't be allowing this pressure of being on match point to get to them. Maybe they should be playing their own game. Right now, though, ASU just going to play default and try to find picks before they make a move on this round.
Both teams mad patient here in round number 17. Or excuse me, round number 19. Stealthy gonna open us up as he takes the long range and catches the player from long B. So the 5-on-4 is strong. CSU with the upper hand.
Again, they've got 4 ultimates to work with as well. And so maybe if they space this out. Right now, CSU looking a lot more comfortable taking these battles at range. On the offense, you know, kind of 4A wasn't working for them at all, but that's a wrap. Is able to find one kill.
It's gonna be fast here. Tony catches Reflex Beast on the A main push, and his friend. Yoda not going to be looking elsewhere this time around. Phoenix pops the ult. Not going to be conservative this time. Finds nobody. There's nobody to find because they're all dead. 7 rounds under their belt. CSU is a contender. I thought this was going to be a sleepy set.
The economy finally broken, really, for ASU here. Well, not finally broken, but we'll see how much they want to really invest into this now. But definitely CSU are waking up here. And with 5 rounds still left to go to try and send this into overtime, though, ASU aren't in troubling territory quite yet. You know, continually getting these max loss bonus will help them out as long as they get the spike planted every single round. ASU are going to just go ahead and save up here. They've got the classics, they've got the sheriffs, and they're just going to make a push for B.
So we've seen a number of different things from ASU. We've seen the 5-man rush. We've seen the default and look for picks. We've seen the 3-2 split rush. This time around, we're seeing the slow push coming out here on B site. Mainly pushing out from hookah, but the Sage has slowed the players down with this wall, and that's going to be an issue here. The slow push is one of my favorite strats because sometimes you can lure the defender into being over-aggressive, but Colorado State has proven that that's not what they're going to do. Every single piece of utility on the site, Grizzy takes down Yoda.
Yeah, he uses that ultimate there. That's going to slow them down just a bit, but there's hesitance coming out from CSU on the rotate. They kept 2 people over at A. I think that might have been the mistake that ASU can take advantage of right now. It's a 3v2 though. Spike should be going down any moment.
Wow. Tony and Stealthy doing work, but that's a wrap. Catches out Stealthy on the other side. Grabs a second one as well. Spike going to be planted. 1 player remaining. This was the Sage. That was locked at A. We've got the 1v1 duel, and well, that's that, folks. 8. A game we have got.
He peaks just a second too early there. He needs to finish that reload before he went completely wide there. Again, you're not under any pressure to make that first peak. You can take your time, right? You're waiting out for that information. It could have played out a little bit differently here if maybe he had picked up an ultimate orb or something, because now he does have that ultimate. So imagine if after that flurry of kills and getting that plant, if he was able to use his ultimate, get the information about where that final player was, that could have been the difference maker here for ASU. He will have it for this round, though. It is going to be rifle versus rifle, and ASU did some decent damage to CSU's economy. And so trying to finish out 3 rounds in a row, 4 rounds in a row strong is going to be that much more difficult for CSU.
Here we are jumping right back into it, and this is what we saw just 2 rounds ago. Arizona State playing for what Jamerson had called default. Just leave the spike at home, sniff out for a pick, see if you find something, and then go wherever you've poked a hole into.
Yeah, it's hard to take initiative at this point. I think CSU are showing that their defense is absolutely strong, as most teams are. I think on most maps here. The wall does come out on the A side, but Reflex B starts it all off once again. That showers control.
Yeah, just providing the secondary angle there. And that's going to give another one across the map, actually. 3 players still standing for Arizona State. Reina Nonsense taken care of. His players tumble out of hookah. Stealthy picks up one, but not the other, leaving Reflex Beast to go wild. Take down Tony. The jumps from Phoenix are not great, but that was his ult body. So we'll see him again in just a moment. Stealthy trying to look down long, nobody to be seen as the rotation from ASU all the way A. Run, 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 run. And they're going to get it all the way by themselves. There's nobody home, baby.
Yeah, ASU have been at least very good about getting the spike in almost every round that they can. And so that's why their economy has been stronger than most people would say. A little bit of a misplay there. They're running back to getting that lead initially. Grizzly, though. Wow, what a ball game play. Pushing into U-Haul there. Cassie very tries to create the still needs one in this situation. He's got to use the hot hands to heal himself up. Going up.
Well, it's 1v2 as you mentioned. Shots coming out from heaven, so he knows where one player is. But where's the second? Right over the wall. Stealthy takes him down. And just like this, I said we had a game before. Now we have a real. This is. It doesn't matter if you win 13 to 12, 13 to 11. It's the same as winning 13 to 0. But all of a sudden, if I'm ASU, I'm sweating.
Just a little bit, but again, with the simple fact that they have been able to get those spike plants, with the fact that they are on, of course, max loss round bonus, they're able to continue to invest into these rounds now. That was very close. They're damaging CSU's economy as well, slowly but surely. With these rounds, it's been a war of attrition, but CSU have still been able to back it. That's one of the things we were talking about earlier about Valorant, the economy, about how hard it can sometimes be to break a team's economy. 3 rounds to go. ASU, though, now, this is definitely where you were.
Yeah. Arizona State gonna slow, not quite slow. They're just gonna push right on in. B gets broken open, but CSU were able to find some shots as well. Arizona State, 3 players still ready. Try and get this score. Good wall coming out from Tony. Will it be able to strong enough for him is the question. And the res is good. ASU have 4. And another shot. This could be the round. This absolutely could be the round here, Jamerson.
Yeah, they've got the camera on point as well. They do have the resurrect, but it's going to be difficult. Find one. Get away there. Goes right on the site. ASU will finish it off. It wasn't clean. It was a little dirty there towards the end. But
Woof! Oh, man. A little bit rough there. CSU is able to really grab like 7 rounds in a row or so, but doesn't come up. 13 down, and Arizona State will go ahead and take this one. And so with that said, Arizona State's going to be moving on to our finals. They'll be playing a best of 3 versus a University of, against Irvine. So, I mean, looking at this one, you said it wasn't that clean, Jamerson. Where did you see ASU start to go wrong in that mid to late game?
Well, again, it was the side difference, right? Their defense looked absolutely superb. Reflex Beast winning every single heads up. It was when we did swap sides when we were playing at more longer angles that CSU were really able to take basically advantage of the defensive side here on Bind. When they were able to change up the angles, when they were able to change the distances, they played a lot more comfortably. And that's where I think ASU kind of struggled. Playing the long range kind of duels weren't working out to their favor a lot of the times. Eventually, they were able to brute force basically onto that site and get that win, but they did have difficulty taking those duels. Now, we got to see how strong duelists UCI were, so that's where I do worry about this matchup right now. Taking a look at Nibbler and the other players on that lineup, they were able to comfortably take a lot of those duels throughout a lot of this. Even Looter over at Long A was able to hold it down and win those duels almost every single time. And so ASU might struggle in that regard.
I'm excited to see us on some different maps as well, though, because I think one of the fun things about Valorant is looking for the adaptation round to round, but also game to game, map to map. So we get a chance to see that as well. This was Arizona versus Colorado, and Arizona are crowned the champions. Arizona versus Irvine coming up. We'll be right back.
Feast upon the souls of your opponents with the vampiric Reyna. Reyna is a duelist with a heavy focus on vision denial and high self-sustainability. Her abilities rely on picking up kills. Players will be rewarded for precision and gun control.
3 souls.
Her first ability, Leer, launches an eye forward that will significantly reduce an enemy's field of vision as long as it remains in their line of sight. This ability has the added benefit of being usable through walls. However, it can be destroyed in just a few shots from any weapon. Reyna's next 2 abilities rely on her passive Soul Harvest. Enemies killed by her will leave behind soul orbs that last for 3 seconds. She can consume these to activate either Devour or Dismiss. Devour, Reyna's second ability, will consume one of these soul orbs left behind to quickly restore her health to 100. Any healing done beyond maxed HP will be converted into overhealing. It's important to note, overhealing caps at 50, and if you have full health and armor, you'll receive 0 healing from Devour. Be careful not to break line of sight on the soul orb, as it will not only waste a charge, but also interrupt its healing. Her signature ability, Dismiss, also consumes a soul orb, making Reyna invulnerable. While she can't pass through walls, she's completely immune to damage and can pass through players. However, Reyna's unable to attack while in this state. By activating the ability again, players can cancel it early. You don't need line of sight to the soul orb to activate Dismiss. With abilities designed around killing everything in her path and coming out on top, Reyna's ultimate, Empress, pushes both her offensive and defensive power to the next level. Once activated, Reyna levels up. She gains a tremendous boost to her firing, equip, and reload speeds. Kills will also refresh the duration of Empress, allowing you to keep on trucking. In addition to these 2 boosts, Empress augments her 2 Soul Harvest abilities, Devour and Dismiss. Devour gains unlimited charges while under her ultimate's effect and automatically activates without consuming a soul orb. Dismiss takes things a step further, and Reyna gains invisibility alongside her invulnerability. Dismiss still consumes a soul orb. Reyna's not a perfect agent by any means. Against more aggressive playstyles, she might find difficulty in using Leer effectively. Enemies that rush past it won't have their field of vision reduced. Players also got to be careful when using Dismiss. When you exit your invulnerable state, you'll be unable to fire for a moment, leaving you exposed. And while you'll be invisible using Dismiss under Empress, you'll give off a distinct ethereal audio cue, letting enemies know where you'll pop out from. Lastly, be careful when using Devour. When draining the soul, you'll be giving away your position. As a near-immortal soul stealer, Reyna works best in the hands of a skilled marksman. If you're not getting kills, you're not generating soul orbs. Use Devour to completely restore your health or evade enemy abilities in gunfire with Dismiss. Leer can shut down an enemy's vision and even force them to turn or rotate away, luring right where you want them. Be relentless when Empress is up. You shoot faster, you reload faster, you are the superior killer. Once you begin collecting souls, you can't be stopped. Your incredible defensive power is the key to your offense. Hunt, kill, and consume your enemies as Reyna. Today we're going to show you our top 5 Viper one-ways that help you easily get frags and put you on top of the scoreboard in Valorant. Before we jump in, let's go over what a one-way is. A one-way is a smoke, or any ability that obscures vision, in this case Viper's Poison Cloud, that's placed in such a way that it gives you sight on your enemies, but without them being able to see you, hence the name One Way. One-ways can be incredibly effective at holding choke points and other areas of contention. Now let's slither into our top 5 and see what Viper, the Queen of Poison, can handle. Number 5, Split, A lobby to A ramp. If you thought defenders could only utilize one-ways, think again. This one-way is used for offense and can cut off a pivotal peak when defenders are holding A ramp on Split. Most players holding A ramp will tend to play on the right corner on the top of A ramp. But what if they play the left side, you might ask? Well, we have you covered there with a nice snake bite that you can also use. Let's go ahead and set this one up. Before the round starts, jump on top of the plant, the corner here, and make sure you're tucked all the way into the corner. From here, place your crosshair right at the corner of this spot and throw it once you're ready. Oh yeah, remember that snake bite we talked about? Combo that from the same position as well. All you gotta do is line up your crosshair at the intersection of the thin horizontal line and the diagonal shadow. This is gonna land on the left side, forcing defenders back. Number 4, Haven. C window to C short. One of the most contested areas of Haven is C short or garage. This location gives attackers access to both a flank on B site as well as C site. Holding down garage is crucial, and with this poison cloud, you'll have the advantage anytime a team chooses to push your way. You want to quickly get your one-way smoke placed as soon as the round starts, since attackers are usually right on the other side. Good thing for us is that you can set one up before the wall drops, and when it does, you can just throw and wait for your prey. Alright, first thing you want to do is position yourself in the corner of the second set of stairs right here. Line up your crosshair just where the wooden wall meets the cement wall. Once the round starts, throw, activate when ready, and prepare to dominate anyone who dares challenge your garage.
I forgot to unmute you. That's my fault. That's my fault.
Yep, that's totally your fault. It wasn't me that was muted. I'm gonna let you blame yourself.
Wait, were you muted and I was I had the chat muted as well? That
No,
was just
chat heard me. You're the only one that didn't. Let's run with that one. Professional hosts here as we get into our grand finals. It is Friday night, it's just fight night. It's not Friday. I guess.
Well, you know, with quarantine and everything going on, any night could be Friday night. You just work hard enough.
I mean, that's absolutely the truth. I've been telling myself it's 5 o'clock somewhere for at least 20 years now. So, Fight Night Arena here, coming from your boys at Wisdom, the college side of things. Earlier today, we saw UCI take down Dominguez Hills. Shouts to Jamerson and his alma mater. And then Arizona State, Colorado went head-to-head. CSU put up a fight, but ASU ultimately do take it. And that leaves us here with the best of 3 on the docket. So Arizona State have to go head-to-head versus Irvine. And this one should be, honestly, mad interesting.
Yeah, again, though, it's whoever's got map pick, I worry for them because defensive side we've seen so far has been incredibly hard to try and break on either of these matches. ASU going 10 rounds. UCI, did they go 11 rounds in their defensive half? And so, again, it's about whoever gets that defensive pick.
So Irvine has map pick, and they have selected Haven, which means across the way, Arizona State gets to choose if they want to be on O or D first, and we can assume it's going to be defense, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's a strong pick for UCI. They got to show that
they chose attack.
Yeah, that's surprising. Maybe they know how to break that defense coming out from UCI. We got to see, of course, the Cypher Omen hold on A coming out, and that has been an adjustment that a lot of teams have been trying to make so far. Cypher running over at A instead of C, where he's basically played by himself. He's been kind of alone over there for the majority of beta.
Yeah, I mean, that's... Listen, I'm a Cypher player. They just tell you to go by yourself, and nobody wants to hang out with you. They just say, hey, you've got a camera, go hang out over there. And I guess that's what we do. So the one-man band.
Camera and a trench coat and a hat. Yeah, you just stay by yourself over there.
Actually, when you put it that way, I definitely don't want that guy hanging out near me. But ASU
He's got the entire voyeur aesthetic going on, you know? Like...
Let's talk Irvine here. Litter and Nibbler really, really showed up when we watched them play their game. For ASU, Reflex B seemed to be a little bit of the chat favorite, and he certainly was performing like that. But Arizona State was more of a cohesive unit, if you will. UC Irvine seemed to have the 2 stars.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, though, because UCI, of course, it was a relatively short game there for them. Only went 14 rounds, 15 rounds. I don't remember exactly how much that Dominguez Hills were able to get on the board. But UCI didn't have to really show much other than, kind of what they're after winning a pistol round, exactly what they like to do, their defensive hold on A. I don't know how much of a read that ASU have on it, but those are some things that you can really try to pick apart. That's at least, the building blocks to start on your offense.
Yeah, for sure. When we come to like when we talk about information sharing, it was definitely more uphill for ASU. They had to show us a little bit more of what they had in the tank. So it'll be interesting to see the guys that played in game number 1, if Irvine's able to kind of graft that information that we saw in the second match, or if they're just going to go right into it. So for Haven, different than Bind, when we look towards Haven, I mean, how do you think this is going to change things, knowing that there could be more games, that there will be more games ahead?
Well, I'm kind of first interested to see exactly, of course, again, Reyna versus Reyna. Like, how is that going to work out when they pull that out? We got to see the strength of it. We saw a little bit more of how you want to execute with it. Like you had mentioned, her flash is definitely different from the other one so far. But does ASU have an answer for triple flash if UCI opt to use that kind of composition here again?
Certainly something to consider, because both of these teams seemed pretty well versed. We saw earlier in the day some teams kind of lagging behind, the game recently coming out, Reyna being available, and some other changes. Your playbook might be a little bit outdated. This is esports. Your playbook has to update on the week. And so watching Irvine and Arizona State come out, they certainly seem to have control of that. So you're talking about some of the triple flash comps that we've seen really kind of take control right now. I want to see if either of them are crazy enough to leave Sage at home, because that has been some of the conversation from the higher level players, is that you can't have a composition without Sage. Never. But with the change, that's been loosened up just a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard to argue against her control, though, because she does have the wall, she has the slow orbs, and now while their effectiveness have slowly been nerfed over time, I still don't think she's been, nerfed to a state where you don't want to run her 100% of the time. The heal, even though you basically only get about 2 heals off every single round instead of 3, it's still extremely strong to have, and just being able to slow down a push by yourself it's unmatched.
That's the key. That was a little bit of a bait question, because everybody focuses on the heal, and I think the heal it's whatever now. But the wall, the slow orb, you just can't trade that for anything.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how you would be able to nerf that. With some of the quality of life changes where you're no longer able to just jump through her slows like you were able to in the past, did definitely just really just put her up there, kind of cemented her in the S tier.
Right now, we're just waiting on a couple of players to jump on in here. So let's downshift before we get into the super sweaty serious finals here. What have you been playing? Who's your go-to, man? Are you a Raze main?
No, I have not been a Raze main, so I'm really happy right now because she's continually receiving nerfs, right? She received a nerf on her satchels, where instead of it's 2 meters, it's like 1 meter, so it's that much more difficult to like maybe last hit someone with it. You can't just kind of throw it out and hope you get a kill with it. So not a Raze main, but I'm still playing Sova. I'm still playing Sage. Definitely my 2 favorite picks so far.
I started Sova, and I found Shock Darts kind of underwhelming, and not everybody agrees with me there. I find them kind of tough to. Where do you find the most usage of your Shock Darts?
Shock darts are a little bit more difficult for me. For me, more than anything else, it's the recon dart that I like. I've been learning a lot of the pre-lines and everything. It's a little bit more difficult in of course solo queue, which is mostly how I play every game that I play. Where I solo. But if you do have coordination with other players, if you've got at least like a triple stack or something, those pre-lines are absolutely strong to be able to scout out the proper information you need. So you check less angles when you're making offensive push.
I've been shifting to Breach a little bit. I was a Sova main in the beta, but Breach, I find that as you understand the maps, less so the maps, but more so the meta ways players play the maps, right? As you understand where people are going to be sitting and waiting and chilling, that's where you can make use of abilities that go through the wall, because you're just kind of guessing. So the more you understand, the less of a guesstimate and more of a intelligent choice your abilities are, and you can grab some oopsie daisy kills just like that.
Yeah, no, I agree, especially with how well, you know, on the hunt can kind of like translate to a lot of Breach's abilities. Except Breach has much wider AoE that he affects with his abilities. And so if you already know those angles for Sova, Sova's on the hunt, you already know the angles for Breach essentially with a lot more leeway to work with.
We're getting some information here from backstage. We're waiting on one player. Their name is Yoda, and we've been instructed to make fun of them. So Yoda can't figure out the client. Well, yesterday, so we had some fun. Yesterday, Wisdom does a lot of different games. We've got friends in Rocket League. We do Teamfight Tactics, etc. And so yesterday we had a mashup. We took Rocket League professional players, Cloud9 and Sonics, etc. These guys came out and they played Valorant, even though they're Rocket League pros. And it was a mess. We were getting into game 2, and I just hear production go, players have to install the game. We'll be waiting. Like, so we're at this point. The game is very, very young, and people are figuring out some things. But Yoda will get his ducks in a row in just a moment. What I've found, because I navigate the solo queue a lot as well, and the one thing I hate to see in the solo queue is the over-aggressive Viper. Viper's a patience character, and people love to play her like she's Phoenix for some reason.
Now, I have a friend who's a Viper main, and he dropped her like pretty quick. Her one-ways can be absolutely nice, and her Viper's pit is okay. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of people just, I don't feel like there's a good grasp on how well she plays.
We'll see how well these players play as we are getting into the game. Yoda has figured things out, and it's Irvine versus Arizona State. One more time, we're playing on Haven ABC site, so it's 3 different spots to go to. Quick breakdown: C is generally approached with more riflery, weaponry. A is where we see some of the earlier shots, and then B is usually where players like to go when they just want to look for the default picks here. But it looks like my template is shaken up as Arizona State on the attack, starting to shift towards C site.
Yeah, UCI though, they're showing us exactly what they showed us in their first best of 1 earlier today, and so nothing's changing. Positioning maybe just a little bit, as they do have the Sage on the C side, and I think she works out great, especially here on the pistol round, where you can expect a team to just zerg from one way.
I agree. I think the Sage, because like when you're looking for the C site, this is probably the site that opens you up for the flank the most. And so, like you said, the Sage can kind of block that out. All of the tools used down here at C. Go Zinger, go home. Sends 3 players home, taking down himself. But Platinum is able to answer back. 4 players strong for UCI. And just like that, Arizona State will set like the sun. And the pistol round goes to Irvine.
And they were prepared for that the entire time. You saw that on C, Ryun was just jiggle peeking from behind the boxes, and he had that slow orb ready to go down to make sure that they were stuck at the choke. And then you had follow-up from Breach, so they knew exactly how to shut down this push. They were ready for that, so great coming out from UCI. I wasn't actually looking at the thing. There we go. They do invest into this round, and so instead of staying on pistols here, they're going to go ahead and show respect to ASU. They're going to go ahead and upgrade their weapons for this round. Well, some of them will.
I really liked actually as the push comes out towards A site. Irvine going to fall back. Ryun picked off in mid, and it's 2 for UCI, and only 1 traded out. So 2 players standing here on Arizona's side. But the push from the attackers has kind of stopped because Irvine did so well on that first kind of exchange.
Yeah, they've got sight on the spike as well, so they're just holding it over here basically by spawn right now. They just have to worry about this flank coming out from the Reyna on ASU's side right now. We'll see. Again, though, they have nothing really to worry about. They have full vision of the spike. They've got 2 players on it. They just have to worry about their flanks.
Flank is coming out here from Irvine. And honestly, Irvine should have the line of sight as well. Nibbler going to come around from the front. I was looking towards the back. Yoda's able to be taken down already. And I think that there is no way Arizona takes this, especially with the recon dart. I mean, you save here, but good luck.
Being able to pick up that SMG.
What?
There's one. Oh, he tried to wide swing it, almost got it. It was super close, but there we go. ASU will be able to get into the rifle round, I believe. They've got the money for it, and so this is where UCI will be challenged here. But we said in that last round, that first in that second best of one, ASU had some difficulties dealing with the long range duels.
You know, I instinctively did not like that play. But knowing that even with the loss, Arizona State would be able to double up and buy rifles, I think the aggressive play was the correct option. Both teams here with good weaponry, as UCI have 2 underneath their belts, and ASU have lost 2 in a row, so that gives them what they want. Reflex Beast starts this one off, and ASU have a numbers advantage.
Cage triggered.
Yeah, they're pushing on in right now. We do have the rotate coming out from the Omen here. As that's Raps is just going to go ahead and push back out. So good utility coming out as ASU are forcing that from UCI right now, and UCI having some difficulty trying to decide exactly how they want to play this. Good patience coming out from ASU, and so that's going to split up the defense even more.
Yeah, Irvine, they've got 4, and they're going to spread them out. 1 hard at C, 1 hard at A. A secondary player near A, and then their 4th player is playing in between C and B, but more of lurk and looking for this flank. Gotta be careful coming out of garage, though. The rest of the team focusing on A site. 3 players strong for Arizona State. They're gonna trade out. Reflex able to grab 3, and all of a sudden, this site belongs to Arizona. Irvine are gonna look for the retake, Jamerson. How do they do that?
I don't think you do. They're just backing off right now. The Sage player just backing completely away from this. In a 1v4, it's almost impossible, especially as a Sage there. Maybe if it was the Reyna, there's a chance because she does have the movement. She can have the reposition after she gets a kill. But at this point, you just play for the exit frags.
Yeah, you've got the op there. I think if you're featured with maybe a different gun, you can kind of play aggressively, but the 1-on-4 is, I mean, those are Kobe numbers. You're not going to get that, and especially with the op, it's just not worth it, I think. You just got to sit, hide, let him get their round, and move on.
So ASU kind of restoring some faith, I would say, in their long-range dueling capabilities. And so now I'm not as worried about their offense here. It did start off, though, with a fairly close-range fight over by garage over at double doors, and that might kind of scare UCI into playing a little bit more respectively and a little bit more reserved. We'll see what kind of adjustments they make for this round, though. Odd stack coming out. Solo Cypher over at Ace site, and we've got 3 or 4 hovering around garage right now.
Is because this is the broke boys play. UCI don't have a lot of money, so they're going to try to play defense offensively. Right away, we've got a trade out. Rune on the SMG, rushing into B site through the smokes. Nobody to be seen. ASU still milling about in that mid spot. UCI trying to push out into it, not finding anyone just yet.
Out, pushing through, not able to connect with the shots on the sheriff there. So now it's all up to the Cypher once again. I respect the play UCI trying to get aggressive, trying to change up the angles up against them, but they just weren't able to get as much value off of that. So now UCI and ASU are going to be tied up 2-2 now, and UCI definitely not in a comfortable spot. I love what ASU is doing. You know, I gotta imagine they're not as comfortable, right, playing against that Cypher Omen combination over at A. So yeah, we'll see how they approach this next.
2-all as we push into round 5. ASU geared to the teeth for assault rifles. Make that 5. Stingy finally buys his own. UCI, though, also geared up, so no questions there. A little bit broke on one player, but should be okay, no problem. ASU have that Reyna ultimate, and I guess, you know, when you look at characters like Brimstone ult, you're like, all right, well they're gonna siege a site, and Brimstone's gonna make that easier. Reyna is one of more of these, like you said, that solo queue idea. So how do you apply Reyna ultimate to a team situation?
Right now, I want to see her entry, but they're just gonna go ahead and all four-man push onto the C site. Instant rotations coming out from UCI, though. It's a little bit slow. They can back this away if they want. They're still playing over by long. There's a trade 1-for-1.
Nibbler grabs and Ryun does, and it's a good cover from UCI because their Cypher player is so far away. He couldn't figure out if he wanted to come to C, stay at B, blah, 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 blah. But the slovenly rotation actually pays off. Looter stuck in between the two sites, finds the slow push and takes him down, and it's 3-2.
Yeah, there was hesitation coming out from ASU. They kept two people over at long. Of course, making sure that whoever has the spike, staying just a little bit back so it's in a recoverable position is fine. But you don't want to play that conservative. You don't want to play that defensive. They could have at least gotten the spike plant down, and especially earlier, and apply a little bit more pressure onto UCI. I like the idea, the execution not so much.
Nibbler here going to lose the gunfight versus Reflex. I would say uncharacteristic. Looking at game number one, Nibbler was nailing these multi-kills. Good vision through the smokes here for Looter. If the player gets caught up on the tripwire, there's the rush in, and there's the shot down. 1 for the money, 2 for the show. It's not actually Looter, as Ryun grabs it from the sky and grabs a second one as players try to push into a site. And Ryun with the overwatch, able to take him down. Reflex Beast, the only one standing.
You will not kill my
doesn't
ally.
have much of an option here. I think just stay at short and hope. With the spike on the other side of this wall, makes it that much more difficult. We have the full rotation now. We have a nice, of course, crossfire being set up, and Looter watching the flank as well. Haven't seen that. The spike just floating mid-air there.
4 players. Yep. Easy peasy for UCI. Not that tough. Yeah, the spike just kind of hanging out there.
The UCI player is definitely astounded as much as I am about the spike just floating mid-air like that. I don't even know if it's recoverable like that. I don't know. They were trying to jump up. It looked like maybe the hitbox touches, but I'm not entirely too sure. Coming into this next round, though, they do have a few things to work with. So they could try for, of course, a Phoenix push coming out with that run it back. And they've had some success playing over at Garage aggressively. So I want to see that kind of push coming out. That's what it's going to be.
2 players already inside. Looks like all 5 of them are interested in coming inside. Platinum shuts the lights off in Garage, but the trade is good. Stingy. Not sure if that was blind or if a teammate took out the eyeball on top, but a nice play there. ASU filter into Garage, but they're going to turn around. UCI made the rotation. I guess that scared him off.
Yeah, again, you still have the control coming out from that Cypher, so he's able to play over at B side, getting 1. There's one more looking around here. It's the Brimstone on the other side of this wall. He sees him on the left, but Yoda takes him out. Never mind, doesn't answer quickly enough.
The one tap's good. You love to see it. Nibbler, though, entering in, grabs one right away, sees a player on the right side, picks him up as well. That's a wrap, goes down. There's another member here trying to push, but UCI does have another guy playing interference. It's a Zig, and move, he says. Yoda goes down. Here's the defuse. And there goes the battle. 5-2.
You gotta respect that Nibs trying to hold it down, and he thought maybe he had it in time, but the Brimstone ultimate coming down just caused them a moment of hesitation. But yeah, that plant angle was definitely awkward for him because you saw that he did have the box to play around and he had cover, and so he was forced to use that ultimate to just try and hope to hold him off. Right now, though, 5-2 going into the 8th round here. We're seeing now they're a little bit less comfortable trying to push through mid, and so they're going to play maybe a little bit more default here, maybe just try to play for some picks instead, though. Push over at long A coming out. Looter already trades away.
I like to play here. Good stuff, though, to be able to nail the trade. ASU then finds one underground. Or excuse me, UCI finds one underground. ASU on the bad side. 3 players strong, but Arez gives us the 4v4 one more time. And with about a minute on the clock, Arizona's going to back off of the A decision, reassess. Look at the Irvine player, though, waiting at the end of the hallway should ASU rotate.
Again, though, at least Cypher, you know, has those traps up. And so his utility will still be useful here throughout all of this right now. Nibbler holding a pretty offensive angle on the defensive side right now. And they've got the rotate coming out, run it back being used.
Phoenix on his extra life here. Stingy is able to pick one off as Phoenix can't see anything. Playing aggressively. Time runs out. Now on his regular life, Yoda looking high will get the reload. And the smokes are being dropped. Goes Zig, finds one, but that's all he's going to get. Yoda puts him down. 2 players left from Irvine. Only one remaining. Can Sage win it? That's the question here, Jamerson. Shots from in front. And pre-fire's good. Yoda with the 3rd kill. Ryun sits down.
Yeah, he had the information. He knew that he was low, and so he's just going to go ahead and pre-fire that like you said. So trading away, getting that extra information, even though you go down, you've got, you know, you're still of use to your team. You let them know he is one-shot, and he was on about 20 HP. And so even through that pen, you're going to be able to get that kill at that range. So ASU keeping this competitive. It's 5-3 now. Irvine's economy not looking great at all. They were considering going with some Spectres. They have at the very least one onto Nibbler, and that's fine for the range that he's playing at.
Already a kill here for Reflex Beast. You know, you mentioned the communication's really important. Only tell me they're one-shot if they actually are one-shot. If you accidentally hit them through the wall, they're not lit, they're not close to death, it's not one-shot. You got lucky. 3 players standing for Irvine here as the push continues.
40 is there. Oh, just barely misses that shot. Cassie Bear gets that. Now he's going to be able to hold down this angle over at B site, and ASU with a great push onto the C.
This is the easiest round Arizona State have had so far. Obviously, it's not over. But this is the cleanest they have looked all game. And this is a really, really clean look, I think. If they come out of this, flawless. I'm not sure if we have this. I think we do. I would love to ride along with Arizona State after this round particularly. Let's see if we can do a listen in. I want to hear how they're feeling. Yep.
Camera taken out.
Let's walk up
What do you
garage.
want to do here? You want to smoke
I'll
garage
flash.
window?
I'm flashing in, Cos. Wait, flashing.
Go see. Go.
Broke it?
Go see. Go through that. He's gonna wall. Just shoot him.
Yeah,
if
fall
he
back. I think fade this.
Yeah, fall.
Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, you're right. Wall. Yeah.
Run A. Run through B. Go B. B. Now.
Close. Hold it.
Nice.
No
You
smoke.
shooting the wall.
I'm ulted. CT.
On it. Nice. You have spike, Aaron?
I have
Back right
that.
side. Dead. Last unknown. Popping traps.
Cypher.
Don't make noise. Just chill. Hold each other's tanks.
Yeah, don't peek. Don't give him a gun.
He's A-Link.
Right
A-Link.
side?
A-Link lit. 105.
Nice. Good job.
Dude, I don't know who this guy is, but he just joined our...
Attackers go ahead and take it. ASU tie the game and they feel good about it. They don't know who our production staff is, but we join the call.
I love that. Like, we just absolutely break, I guess, the fifth wall, fourth wall. I don't know how it works here. Yeah. But I love that coming out from them. Even the calls on that post plan. You know, play your angles, don't peek, be conservative, don't give them any guns. Even though ultimately did peek Looter there, but still, the effort was made. Ryun, though, starts it all off.
Ooh, right away. We see 4 Ks coming out from Irvine real quick. Real quick.
Huge adjustment coming out from UCI there, realizing that ASU definitely favoring that mid control, making pushes through there. That's where the majority of this half has been going so far. And so this time around, they counter that, and they're able to just play aggressively against them, catch them off guard, instead of allowing them to play it slow and try to play for the picks and get utility out from them. Being very proactive on that defense, that's what you can do here on Haven.
Looks like there's going to be a save here from Arizona State. UCI will likely take this one, but you know, that last round was real important, and if we could kind of discuss those comms as well. You point out sort of the reminders, don't peek, and that's the type of stuff that I was actually looking for when I went to the listen-in. I wanted to see if they were playing that because they were down and now they've tied it up. But what I really, really liked was how dynamic it was. There wasn't one in-game leader, but they all still listened to the call. When you have multiple voices, sometimes it just becomes a mess. It's really hard to play the group IGL card. Is Rap going to go for this?
He's got 12 seconds left. I think he's just getting these exits. He understands that the economy for UCI, definitely not the strongest. So trying to do a little bit of hunting here will help them going into the last round of this half. But I completely agree. Again, Valorant, these rounds are all about information. You need to be able to get that information out. And so making sure that everyone's calming is important. Every single voice on the team is important.
Mm-hmm. A lot of teams will, and like I said, it's that balance. Sometimes it works out with just one guy calling and good for you, but finding the way to navigate, and I think that goes to what you were talking about before, the support from the system. These guys obviously have time in the gym, they practice together, and you can tell. Round number 12 here. Ready, set, go. Again, players looking towards garage. The long-range fight down here is one of my favorites. Both players miss.
Not able to connect that time. Platinum opens it up, taking out Stingy there. They do have the res, though. They're gonna have to heal up this the Cypher as well.
Arizona State contemplating. Originally looking for the picks. Platinum picks up the second kill of the game. Yoda misses the flick there. C seems to be the place that Arizona wants to push slowly and cautiously. Still one staying in mid, and Yoda making sure. Where's Yoda going here, Jamerson?
I'm not entirely too sure. I think he's worried about the flank because they've lost complete mid control right now. Nibbler was there, biding his time, finally gets that. Singing was holding the flank the entire time for that angle, but there we go.
I know
exactly. Get across, Platinum trades away. Now it's just up to 2.
A little bit of utility shoved to the back side of the site. Spike going down here. Yoda, long side, will lose the sniper battle. Looter trying to bust into this site. Back right is where the opponent is. And a little bit of utility. UCI on the case, and it's 4-on-1. This is going to be an uphill battle, and, well, it all rolls downhill. This is round number 7 here for UCI, and the defenders will take it.
So ASU proving why they picked offense first. They honestly had some great plays coming out, and their mid control it started early on, right? The contention over Garage, winning the duel, really did put some respect on the name, and UCI had to play a little bit more, a little differently there. And at that point, finally UCI, though, kind of regained that confidence to play for mid, and ASU weren't ready for it. And so love that, you know, the adjustment and then the counter adjustments coming out from either side. That's what esports is about, being able to get that read and kind of countering your opponents.
All right, Ghost versus Classic and some armor, other options. Are these personal choices or are these team choices, the way a sniper rifle might be?
I think it also depends on like what kind of utility you want to go into. So,
sure.
Saying here though, playing the long range, of course, would want to go with that Ghost, try to get that one tap. It's Cassibear that gets it though, starting it off for ASU.
The pullback here from Irvine. A will not be the choice. So let's look towards B. Garage could be the push. That opens up both B and C, depending on where they want to go. And ASU pretty much stationed here. And Rap take it down through the wall.
So they'll be able to get the plant here. Great away though. And they're not going to be able to finish that off. There we go. 2v2. They planned it for long. They just need to be able to back him off from it here.
Ryuda's gonna pick up one. Cassie Bear picks up the other, and Looter grabs the 4K before we even get to celebrate the duel. 8-5. Clean, clean, clean.
On that reload is huge.
Yeah. Earlier we saw some cool tech where you pointed out, like, I love when this happens as a caster. You mentioned it, and then the next round we saw it.
Yeah.
That's the gold stuff. So the cool tech of like leaving the extra guns around. So we'll see how these players use their money as they come into it, as we exit the pistol rounds.
We have a shorty from ASU. Someone from ASU picked that up. Cassie Bear tries to go for a cheeky peek, but now it's going to be Stinging, who has to play this angle here. And this is where the shorty can be absolutely abusive. Zig starting it off here on the site, getting that down. That's going to be a free spike plant for UCI.
Nicely done. And that's the round. I mean, you know, we could hope, but the 1v5 is you got $1 in the dream there, champ.
Yeah, you've only got the one opportunity really to work with there. You try to play short, you get a little bit aggressive there. If you don't find the pick, that's basically over. You're not able to pick up a gun and bring it back to your team or something. So I'm just surprised that ASU maybe didn't play that a little bit differently. There was an opportunity for the Reyna, who had the shorty, to play those angles. Yoda, though, does pick up one. So that's nice for him at the very least.
Now look at that. He gets his shorty kill. Just, I mean, you got to go for it, I guess, right?
Yeah, that was cheeky by Platinum. Like Platinum, like saw him and he was like, "Oh wait, he's got a shorty. I got to back up." So he gave him enough respect, just enough respect, where he wouldn't die to the shorty. So,
well, I feel like the shorty is the one. Listen, sometimes you play into the pistol and you win it or you lose it, and that's whatever. But 9 times out of 10, when you die to the shorty, it's your own fault. You didn't check that corner. You ran too fast. You took the angle you shouldn't have taken. You know what I mean? Like, that's your own bad. Like, oh, man. UCI in control now. 9-5. And we'll see if they can work in any overtime here as they're pushing up into B site looking for these picks. Leaving the spike at home one more time. Just looking to outgun the opponent.
yeah, I just want to play a little bit more contact. Oh, Reflex spots him out. Ryun takes him out, but it's traded. Oh boy, Platinum might be stuck here though. Luckily for him, the wall is still there. He's gonna take it down himself. Zig pushes onto A, takes one with him. There we go. Bomb's gonna rotate now onto site.
C site still has a defender lagging behind. B site player rotating through, and Platinum waiting for said rotation will lose it. And so there's 2 extra reinforcements coming from ASU to investigate what the 2 members of UCI have going on here already. Zig will eat it, and so an even 2-on-2. We've got a wingman match here. A site, spike already planted. Yoda gets blinded. Still cautious. UCI's on the site right from behind. Nibbler chows down on Yoda. Zig doesn't know, but it doesn't matter. And the attackers take it double digits for UCI.
That was a great flash coming out from Zig. He was stuck underneath in dark. That flash alone, clearing basically CT for himself, allowed him to just jump out at the site. And so that slows down the Brimstone. Brimstone now has to clear out an extra angle on that point. He has to worry about everything. So you saw him kind of just freeze up as he was waiting for the other rotation to come out, and he just got completely flanked. So beautiful play coming out from UCI. It's 10-5 now going into the next round here. UCI have really opened this up.
Absolutely. ASU, we had back and forth, but this is just going all the way to Irvine. We see 1 and the trade. Okay, all right. Now it's a 4-on-4 as Cassie Bear takes down Nibbler, one of the stronger players on Irvine. Zig, though. You know, Zig was the bottom frag in their first game, and here, Zig is sending everyone else home.
They've got complete information here, so this should be another round on the board. 2v4 post-plant position, your economy is hurting just a bit. I don't see any chance for you to try to make this play work. Yoda is stuck by that slow orb, and Ryun peaks at just the right time. And so now ASU, they would have loved to have held on to another gun going into this next round.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, all right, there it is. I was like...
Was he typing or something? What was going on there?
He's looking at his Twitter. I have no idea.
Yeah, that was the slowest turn. That was the slowest reaction coming up from Zig. You just sang him praises, and I'm pretty sure like he turned on, because we're on a delay. He just turned on stream. He's like, oh yeah, he's feeling himself, and then he like tabs back in, and that happens.
Just you heard the oh. He died.
The audacity. How dare you peek me right now while I'm all tabbed?
Irvine here looking for their 12th round to put them 1 away from match point. All stacked up on C site. Breach is gonna do his namesake, toss out all the nonsense, and here comes the push. 1 goes down, 2 go down, 3 go down. And UCI have only lost 1 in the fray. The spike not yet planted. About 70 seconds left on the clock. Counter rotations coming out here. Wall falls. Spike still not planted. There it is. It's put down, as is that member of ASU trying to approach from long. And yet again, we see UCI take control.
Yeah, UCI with a great push there. Site. So we are going to be on a match points. 12-5 now. ASU, their defense just not able to get anything going.
Insane here. UCI 1 away from match point. Let's see if they can do it, and let's listen if they can do it. Let's ride along with Irvine.
Alright. Like, this round, we should just... I'm gonna smoke C again, and they're not gonna know, and we should be able to...
Wait, can I off it though?
Oh, you want to opt it? Okay.
There's slow mo.
Got bump. Yeah, I'm gonna off it real quick. Give me a second.
I'm gonna smoke C garage. I'm gonna work
There's Cypher C, yeah. Give me a second, Nibbler.
You going long? Oh, careful.
Yeah.
This guy likes to come short.
Wait, Phoenix Salt, let's fall back.
Yeah,
Let's fall back. He's pushing short. Okay, I'm gonna push mid. Oh, Brim's out. He's just out mid by himself. Good trade.
One more. Wait, it's C clear. Cypher left C.
Yeah, Cypher left C.
Walking up C. Oh my god.
Oh my, I'm blind.
Hey, I'm scared from him. No! Yeah, you guys are going off. Nice. I could have knifed him too.
We're taking A right now with the bomb.
Yeah.
You have heal?
No, this guy's res. They have res. You might go for a res play.
Yeah. What was that?
That's mid, right? Behind us. That's behind us.
Oh yeah.
Just wall behind.
Wall behind. Come short with me.
I can off Evan.
Oh, okay, you're gonna.
I have a flash too. I have 2 flashes.
Yeah.
Short. Sure.
One long, one short. Close to my wall. Close to my wall.
Guy.
That one's close.
Guys,
Guy's on the wall.
you guys have flashes. You guys have flashes.
Stunning. Or
Just rotate flashes.
play for myself. Yo, play for
Alright.
for shot.
Nice. Good game, guys. Keep up.
And just like that, Irvine are going to be able to take number one. You know, they were having a good time. They were feeling themselves. You heard knife denied there, Jamerson.
It's always a feels good to get that, but you know, even though on the defensive side UCI did struggle, they were able to ultimately win that out. Once they went on to the offense, ASU did show strong defense, or showed a strong offense. I would say definitely had a game plan, but it was just completely different case here. UCI's tempo kind of hard to read for ASU.
Yeah, for sure. I think Arizona State absolutely put on a good show here. This was listen, I mean, the first couple of best of ones were lopsided, and this wasn't, which bodes well because this is the best of three, like we said. So we're going to come into a next map here. We might see a turnaround, but I really want to dissect this here because these, excuse me, real quick, defense is almost overwhelmingly considered the way you want to go, and ASU opted for the attack side.
Yeah, I'm not entirely too sure exactly why, but their mid control looked really good on offense, and I think it might have just been a read on basically how UCI were running their defense, because we got to see them, of course, on Haven in their first best of one. So they might have felt a little bit more comfortable going there and trying to getting a good offensive side. Honestly, going 5 rounds on an offensive side here on Haven, I take that and then try to run that into defense, but it just never worked out for them.
Certainly not that time. This time, though, we are going to go on everyone's favorite map, Split. I'm a liar. Split is the choice here for number 2. And as a commentator, I'm very excited because we just don't get to cast this really all that often. I think everybody understands the joke that Split is the set that nobody really likes, but can you tell us a little bit why?
Yeah, it's just mid was always, like, of course, a big problem, but like the rotations, you had to always just basically run through spawn here on Split. So it made it very difficult for the offensive side to make that rotation. It felt like it took forever when you're hoofing it there on that site. That's one other big issue, I think. Just that fact that like you either run through sewers or you run through all the way back to spawn to try and make that rotate. You don't have the same options. You get to see, you know, for what we just saw there on Haven, that you had like if you had mid control, you had so many good rotation paths, but because people don't even want to fight for mid because it can be so difficult for you to break the defensive hold on mid,
Sure.
maybe that's mostly not an option.
Yeah, it could be a little bit tough here. Unlike Haven, this one only has the 2 sites. Like you said, the rotations can be a little bit tough, which I think have kind of made Valorant feel like Valorant. I come from a long history of playing Counter-Strike. I got a couple of friends over in the Rainbow Six world, and the tac shooters are similar, usually very, very slow. And I think the Valorant difference is it's faster. You're rotating more often. Split plays more like a traditional tac shooter map. Agree or disagree?
I would agree. Again, because you do also have the elevation, the ropes play that you have to really contend with as well. And the angles, there's so many angles on either side that you have to cover. So it can be very difficult on the offensive side to really try and deal with that. And you have to be fast. You have to be fast on the take. Again, though, I don't get to see it as often. So even though I don't like the map, I'm still excited to see the map because I want to explore it more.
Yeah, this is definitely, you know, like I said, the luxury of the commentator. A lot of times, you know, I love casting 5-hour-long MOBA sets, but the players absolutely hate playing it, right? This is the same situation. Y'all could be mad at playing Bind, but I'm just going to cast it and have a gas because I like some of these angles. Watching players break down B coming through that sort of the back alley is always very interesting. It feels the way we see those shower pushes on the other map, but a little bit more open. And watching players maneuver through small, tough to break bomb sites or spike sites are really interesting because I think it really shows how well a team uses its team utility. Like other sites, you can kind of walk in with like 2 guys. Breaking into sites like that requires multiple players, I feel like.
The battle for B main is going to be an interesting one to see here. Also for mid control, we'll see. It's not as easy for the defense to hold on to mid as it was before. It is so wide open now. But I think B main is also still an issue because, again, those are your 2 routes into the site, right? You have to first gain mid control to try and get access to heaven, or you just all funnel out through B main. And you never want to funnel out all 5 through B main.
Not at all. Character choice is going to be interesting as well. This is one of the maps where Cypher can just hold down a site by himself and wait for the rotations. But like you said, the speed of said rotation is going to be really important. And Irvine has looked very clean, but one thing I've noticed, and I don't know if you've noticed the same, is that their rotations, even if they win the round, have been a little sluggish. I have noticed that.
They are a little bit slow, but it's, I think, just a bit more defensive, right? A lot of the times, even though you see a huge commit onto a site, sometimes you do want to hold out, and especially with the rotation paths that are on Haven, to maintain at least presence on a site.
Split. Here we go. The almost unanimous least favorite map of competitive players. We mentioned a couple of the issues, but honestly, I like when people are forced to play Vertigo. I like when people are forced to play Split, because I mentioned, like, as a commentator, whatever, I don't see the bad points of it because I'm not playing, but also this is where the players are theoretically less practiced in. We get more raw instinct on these least favorite maps, so to speak. So you generally see a different approach on the bottom tier, on these lower selected choices. So I want to see how both teams work out. UCI up 1. This is the best of 3. So if they win this one, we all go home. Arizona State trying to stretch our evening. Pistol round going to start here. And it looks like Arizona State on offense are headed towards A pretty fast.
Really on it. Great execute so far. Never mind. Never mind. Looter already for the 2-piece there, trading away only for the 1, and even forcing out that heal earlier.
Eyes on heaven. ASU have the spike down. Irvine 4 players ready to take over versus ASU's 3 to defend. Shots coming through the terminal. Not going to be able to find anyone. Zig checks to the left. Able to jump and find the shot. Platinum finds it on the other side. Stingy alive. Tries to take one down. Finds one, but that'll be it. UCI take the pistol round as they took last game, up 1-0 in both categories.
You don't get to see the right click coming out from the classic that often, but it was hilarious because, like, he goes for the jump shot and all 3 miss. They just kind of, like, on the wall behind him, all 3 bullets hit around him. So UCI are able to take that, and I do like that push coming out from them, though, from ASU.
UCI here take their victory, and 2 players going to go with the subs, and a couple of players will stick to the pistols.
Wow, that's
Good
dead.
Good econ management. Like to see the rifles come out because you know the opponent's going to bring the rifles out next round. Platinum, though, leading the charge with that Spectre, takes down Yoda and just firing into the smoke. That's what he has the opportunity for. 2 kills with the utility as well. And, ouch. That's that. Flawless victory for UCI.
And we didn't get to talk about the Ray swap coming out for this round. So again, being able to play that Raze, I think, yeah, this is definitely one of those playgrounds for Raze. She has so many nice angles for her ultimate, and of course, a lot of places where you can just pre-throw her nades down. And so she's extremely useful here, especially on the defensive side, but even on the offense, she's going to find a lot of value for UCI.
Arizona State in the hole underneath 2. They've got rifles now. Let's listen to see how they plan on taking advantage of this situation.
I thought, oh Jesus Christ, I thought you asked someone else to go away.
Oh, my mic's off. Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
I've been asking. You said go here, and I went to ping, and then you said go back to B, and I went back to B.
I am trapped.
Cover going out.
You
They're
cover him?
full mid. Guys, we need to retake mid. We need to retake mid.
Yep, I'm coming.
I'm with you.
Serious.
Walk it.
Okay, I'm gonna stay here. You go.
Just tell
Hey,
Omen's,
they
Omen's teleporting somewhere. I think I'm almost sure he's on top of the
right.
Go, 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 go.
Okay, that should have. He should have been dead instantly. I should have
There's
died.
another one here. Throw him
You
somewhere.
get me?
Raise it to A.
Smoking,
I'm dead.
smoking rope.
Should we should go back to A. Let's just go back to A.
Yeah, I'm faking B.
I
Okay.
faked the A rotate.
We can.
Go A now, go A now. Cost, go. Go.
For future
So
reference,
wait
you
for
can't
him
run
to
through
trade.
sewers anymore.
Dude, I hate that tripwire. He just
This is
literally a free kill
You're
from
on your
every
own.
time.
One site. On you have
Okay.
bomb, bro. Is he still site?
Yeah, on site.
We can't take A. We can't take A, dude. That guy,
Okay.
that Cypher just puts a trip in.
Okay, chill.
Occasionally, just headshots. Me
I died mid for no reason.
Oof. Dissension in the ranks there, Jamerson. Honestly, that sounds dire.
Yeah, a little discord in Discord going on over there, and I agree though. He was trapped out. He needed help, and the backup from sewers just came way too slow. And I agree. I shouldn't have died there. He should have been dead. He gave him the information. And so with that could have been completely different if they didn't trade away, if they were able to write a 5v4 advantage into that.
So we heard, I'll ask this afterwards, actually. Question about the sewers. Keep your mind in the gutter real quick. 2 for Ryun, but he will be taken down by Rap. Here's the orbital strike. Just slowing things down. 4 players still stranding for Irvine. And they'll have the upper hand here. Arizona State tries to push, but in that listening, we heard a little bit of instruction to the team saying you can't run through sewers anymore. What do you mean by that?
Honestly, I'm not entirely too sure because I never play sewers. Like I'm always like lurking over at A site.
Word.
So I'm not entirely too sure. I don't have to generally make that rotation through.
They changed some of the noise down there, but I don't know. Maybe chat will figure it all out. Right now, team's trying to figure it all out as they push towards B site. UCI strong like bull. Stingy sitting down. The Sage player, the only one left. Delete. Looter picks up another, and that's 4 for UCI.
Yeah, UCI on a huge come up at this point. And so here on the defense, it's becoming harder and harder for them to break. And we also heard during that listen-in that the A push isn't working for them. The Cypher solo hold is working out. Looter here has been doing a good job. Even though they know where the traps are, they haven't been able to deal with it. So I don't know exactly how they want to try and deal with it. And it looks like it's just ignoring it and going for a mid and B push.
It's probably not a bad plan, but every plan looks worse when you just have one less player. Instantly killed. With the op. Nice play there from the UCI sniper. Irvine's been doing a great job of just chilling. We saw this in some of the other games, and this is what you do in attack shooter. You toss out a smoke, it dissipates, you toss out another one, and as long as you have the patience to stand still, it's usually defend or boon, and UCI has been looking good for that.
Yeah, rotation of utility is absolutely key. We heard comms about that, I believe, on the other map. Didn't really quite see it. It might have been in the final round or so, I think, when they say, yeah, rotate out your flashes and just buy time. And time is a valuable resource in this game.
Oh, absolutely. Only, I mean, you've got less than 2 minutes to really make your play, right? So I always compare it to American football. You say hike and you better start running. Ryun and Reflex Beast trade one out for their teams. Nibbler, on the other hand, grabs 2. Puts Reflex and Yoda in the pocket. There's the 3rd, but he can't pull it off. Stingy with the baby rage there. And it's 1 to 2. Looter and an Omen player versus the lone spike carrier. Stingy pops the weasel. Now playing defense, can't get it done. That's number 5 for UCI.
Yeah, I'm surprised he went for that, but I thought, you know, maybe he might have been a little bit too long for him to recover the spike and get the plant, but at least he gets the plant money for ASU. I think in my situation, or in that situation, I would have just gone for the save, but ultimately that is better value for the team overall. Going into this next round, though, it looks like it is going to be a force-up. No armor for Yoda. Or at least he can get light armor for himself if he'd like. But he hasn't committed into it quite yet. There we go. The light armor buy does come out.
Round starts. Arizona State spread out. Spike on the side of the B site. But not fully committed. 2 players in the mid. Still looking for those picks. ASU. Nothing has worked for them. Absolutely nothing has worked for them in this game, too. So they're just as curious as I am as to where to go, in all honesty.
Yeah, they haven't been able to read much off of UCI other than I don't like playing over at A because of the Cypher. And right now they're just playing for picks here, and it looks like heavily rotating onto B. Nice tempo move that's coming out from Stingy there. He tries to push it to spawn.
Yeah, Nibbler was waiting there for him. Platinum on the other side is waiting there for Cassie. Platinum looking for the high rise. Doesn't see the player behind. It's a slow. And all the okay. Nibbler backs up and grabs Wrap. Gotta check the corners, boys.
They at least get the spike planted once again, so this helps out with their economy.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. The wind
and at this
has
point,
been
just Looter's presence over at A. I don't know why it's deterring them so much. Why ASU hasn't been trying to figure out how they can try and break that. That really does afford UCI the opportunity to spread out their defense a little bit more. Looter, again, these traps, you know, they're fairly standard. They should be able to deal with it. This shouldn't be slowing them down and giving them this much trouble.
Yes, this should.
Hey man, it is. Sometimes, you know, and that's the interesting thing about when you're looking at competitive games. This might be a strat that they have beaten time and time again in scrims, or they might be awesome at everything but the simple fundamentals, right? Like, it's how you play on any given Monday in this case. And we see the 1 shot, we see the 2 shot, everything is coming up Millhouse for UCI until Reflex busts up there. Are you serious? Okay, no, it was Looter. It was Looter. I thought homie died to ball damage, and I was about to lose it.
Still, though, through the smoke, Ryun will be able to finish that off, and there. ASU tried something different, tried to rotate over to A after the game. Mid control almost worked out for them. Unfortunately, of course, your entry kind of going down there on ropes slows them down a lot. Almost caught him out early on. But at least they're changing things up. But this is 7 in a row now for UCI. Full buys coming up from ASU. We'll see if they do anything differently. This time around, they're already hovering over by A. And so good for them to try and change something up. I think they have a little bit more confidence after that round on that A.
Right.
But adjustments already coming up from UCI as well.
And they've got more money. They've got more weapons and utility. And that's the idea here. ASU are fully equipped. Oh, the flash is strong. The flash is so good. And Yoda's able to take down Platinum off of the Phoenix flash. Nice job. I don't know if they planned it that way, but that's really cute. Phoenix flashing for Reyna to go ahead and grab the soul shard. Ryun with 2 across the map.
The difficulty of trying to get onto B main. Oh!
I was waiting. I thought we'd see the collab. Not that time.
Ooh, almost got the flick there, missed it. Cassie Bear is now on site. As yeah, we had the rotation. Again, now coming out a little bit slow this time from UCI. I don't know if they go for the retake here. They do have the economy to back it, so if they do want to make an attempt, I'm definitely not against it at all. At this point, it is a 2v2, but very slow coming out from Ryun. They're having to make it all the way through spawn to get over to the A site.
If I'm UCI, I absolutely go for this retake. Beautiful play there from Nibbler. Cassie stuck in the deep side of the site. There's the Phoenix ult Ryun. Oh no, you hate to see it. That was the round. So that's the round. If I'm playing for Arizona State, the Friday Night Lights soundtrack is playing in the background as we plant that spike. This is the one. We take this round. We take them all. We reverse sweep this. Oh, they got it. And now I am so deflated. How do you get back in this game mentally, let alone physically?
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Definitely the mental at this point, because we were talking about how comms were breaking down just a little bit in our last listen-in with ASU, that, you know, we're getting some, like, fingers kind of pointing in general direction of stuff, and that's not what you want to hear in comms, right? You need to kind of keep your mental in this, a little bit of control with that camera out. And I like this play over for the mid side. And again, another push now going over to A site, coming out from ASU.
You know, the other side wasn't working, and A looked hard, but B wasn't. So you just keep slamming it. Oh no! The double for Zig. Oh man, Yoda finds a quarter kill. So Zig will go home. And all of a sudden, it's a 2-on-2, 2-on-3 for ASU.
Yeah, something thematic about a
You
player
will
named
not
Zig,
kill my ally.
floaty character in a Riot game. ASU actually win this out though, so that's the first round on the board for them in this half.
Big, but I feel like it comes one round too late. Let's take a look at the economy. Nope, they'll be able to buy in here. But they absolutely have to win this round if they choose to buy in. So this is a confidence call. Ringflex and Stingy waiting on it. And it will be an all-in. So if they lose this round, then I think UCI, they don't necessarily win the whole match, but they're certainly in a good position to do so. By choosing to go rifles here, ASU are making a big bet.
Yeah, if they lose this round, it's basically going to be 11-1 for UCI at that point. But again, I like that they are now renewing a focus onto the A site. They are finding success. They kind of scrapped off the first couple rounds there and the troubles that they were having. And it's not as difficult as it seems now for them to try and make that push, though. We do have some flanks coming out, 2 people going towards sewers.
Trying to keep it up here. Stingy and Ryun are both going to pick up one for their teams. 4 players still pushing. Platinum's thinking about it. Seeing who else is there. 1, 2. Oh, the patience pays off. Can't get the third. But it was still cute.
That trigger discipline was so good coming out really him, so that allows him to pick up the double. Brings it out into a 3v2. They are on site, though, as now the rotation should be coming out from Looter. As he's making his way through spawn.
Wow.
Ryun takes out 1.
Zigs up high. Tosses to the right. Crosshair staying there. Looks to the left. And the bomb gets the kill. That's that. UCI pickup. Love potion number 9.
So that's the plant, and what? You get 1900, right? For the round loss. 23, and I think 2 players were sitting on 2K. Yeah, this is not looking good for them at all. So you can have one buy.
Yeah.
And it looks like they might be forcing up into this full armor coming out for the 2 people that had money. So Death the Rap and Stingy are definitely going to have to make work with this going into the 11th round here. But even after, it's going to be difficult. They want to try and save for the full buy at the very least for the next one, for the final round of the half.
Yeah. They're doing the halvesies, right? This round, half of the team will have a gun. Next round, half of the team will have a gun. If they win, then all of them do. Again, the wager is strong here. Cassie Bear distracted by his own Reyna teammate, and doesn't matter. Zig's able to pick up 1. Looter picks up the other. Looter picks up a 3rd. And players number 4 and 5 are on the map. They're across it. And UCI comfortable on the couch, baby.
Yeah, they needed to at least get the plant there for those 2 players that invested into this round. To have a decent buy going into this final one right now. But if they can conserve some guns and try to get some exits here, Ryun's not going to allow it to happen. Neither will Nibbler. And going into the 12th round of this half, the final round of the half, ASU are really up against it.
Yeah, this is woof. 10-1 here, folks. UCI took game number 1. This is the best of 3. So if ASU don't bring it back, this is our final map of the evening. Thanks for joining us, by the way. Collegiate Fight Night's kind of fun. Jamerson is a legend in the college scene. I'm just visiting, but it's always fun. We do these fight nights kind of weekly, usually outside of the collegiate scene, but it's kind of cool to hang out with the college crowd and see Arizona and Irvine go head-to-head.
I did my math kind of wrong there. I thought they had less money than
I
what
know
they
exactly.
actually did. The whole buys coming up from ASU, but I like that force out the player playing up there. But oh, he's able to recover that LMG and put it to good use.
LMG go just easily for UCI here. Nibbler trying to choose where to go. ASU recover the spike and get the res. It was 3-2 momentarily. Now there's 2 players standing for Arizona.
Beacon here. Oh man, the stim pack with with the LMGs. They're gonna be able to make short work of this wall. It doesn't even survive a chance. They can get the res as well if they want to. And yeah, they're just pre-firing every corner as they come around. You get the res onto Platinum here, bringing it into a 4v2.
Yeah, this is what we call the LMGG, because I don't think they're...
This rotation. They're on the site.
That's kind of cute. All right, so we are going to get the plant for the money that doesn't matter, because don't forget, all things are lost next round. We switch sides and go back to the pistols. So UCI have been able to get 10, perhaps 11. We'll see how it works out. There's 11. Can ASU do the same on the other side is the question, because Irvine on match point.
I believe Irvine won every pistol round so far, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Statistically, at this point, UCI are on the path of setting this the match point right here, right now, on this pistol round, unless ASU do something different. I don't know exactly what they can do. We do have, of course, the Ghost coming out, so they want to play a little bit more at range, and they are afforded that possibility. Big problem, I want to see exactly how they hold down at B. It looks like they want to be a bit aggressive on that hold, as you can already see the Sage holding that angle, ready to push up on that, giving them a lot of information. So it should be a huge heads up for UCI, or excuse me, for ASU, and 2 players on A site.
We'll see if that's the case or if it goes other ways. UCI charging into the A site. A little bit of information given, and it do not matter. Jump forward, Halo. See you later. That's a wrap. And his namesake will be just as strong. But Cassie Bear picks up 1.
But it's just now the 2 left, only down to the Sage. And you know, I'm surprised. UCI swung fast, but they were still smoked off, and through that smoke, they were able to get a headshot. And,
yeah,
that's a hell of a thing. That's a way to open up a site, despite, you know, they were pre-firing back. We were watching ASU pre-fire the smoke, and they weren't able to hit their shots.
One thing I really liked there as well is, don't forget, whenever you're using the silenced weapons, whether it's the Ghost or the Spectre or whatnot, or excuse me, the Phantom or whatnot, your bullets don't have tracers, so firing into and out of smokes, or excuse me, firing into smokes, your opponent isn't revealed as to where those bullets are coming from. So when we saw the player get killed on this push into A, that wasn't information gathered by bullets. That was a knowledge of where the players traditionally stand. That's the knowledge, the map knowledge that we're talking about as players get familiar with like the meta game and where to expect players to be sitting, and it works out that way for UCI. They're one away from it here, Jamerson.
Yeah, we did have some fighting coming out, of course. They have to force up. Nibbler already starting one off, and that Bucky not taking value for him, and he just gets charged down, does Yoda.
Wow. Reflex is able to show us a little bit of what we saw earlier, but Nibbler cuts him down with the SMG. Irvine. Whoops, that one didn't work out.
Final round, it's all up 3-1. Nibbler finishes it off. What a performance from UCI.
Just like that, Irvine are able to take game number 1 and game number 2. Game number 3, we do not need. Irvine takes down Arizona State and looks really, really good doing it, especially in that last one.
Yeah, again, things looked great, especially ASU's first best of one, right? They had a very dominant half and then took a little bit of time to close it out here. And so we thought, this would be a lot more competitive than what this map ultimately ended up being. UCI having a very strong control on their defense, really shutting down ASU, and ASU never really able to find any good footing here on Split.
Yeah, I mentioned this earlier when we selected Bind. Whenever we see the lesser played maps, you can really tell who is prepared here. ASU looked really strong on the other sites, but when we moved into Bind, the map that less teams spend time on, this was really lopsided, and I can't help but think that that was part of the game plan.
Yeah, and honestly, here UCI again showing kind of what the esports program is all about. There is a huge focus on esports. We've got, I say we because I am an alum. I tried my best to stay not biased or at all. But during that cast, you got to see kind of what the support means, right? Having faculty support, having, even though you can't use it, a practice room, and having a place where you just kind of compartmentalize your life, right? This is where I do esports, which is at the center, and then I have my own regular home setup where that's where I chill, that's where I study. And so compartmentalizing your life, having the support of like psychology majors and being able to talk to psychologists, being able to talk to sports psychologists, even physiologists to really help out kind of like your body. They have that support. They honestly do. So it's absolutely insane what you can do when your college has that kind of program.
I feel that it's the professionalism. Like you commentate a lot for fun, and then you go to work, and when you've got the boss and the clock in, you all of a sudden feel a little bit more elevated, and I think it comes out with the play as well. We certainly saw it that way. Irvine takes it above Arizona State in tremendous fashion. I want to shout them out. I want to shout out our other teams as well. Dominguez Hills came through, and Colorado State University also showed up tonight. So it's been a blast here. Giant Slayer, we traditionally do a lot of Valorant tournaments. This was our first college shot. We gave it the old college try. Jamerson, you're the vet. How do you think we did?
I think we did a damn good job. So I'm really happy. It was a fun experience.
For sure. Jamerson, it's been a while since we've hung out, so I'm going to make sure we do it again. Tomorrow, you around?
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad to hear it. We've got another tournament coming at you. It'll be regular fight night, rescheduled from Friday on to tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss it. Like we said, if there were any things here that you want to learn a little bit more about Valorant, check out the Valorant Wisdom, the Giant Slayer TV YouTube. We've got some interesting stuff out there. And as always, we will see you later. Thank you so much for checking us out. We'll catch you next time.